Sit back and relax while I listen to Train Kickers podcast. I'm Dave, and along with my co-hosts Dan and Steve, we're going to take you all around the world of miniature wargaming. On tonight's episode, we're going to start, which will hopefully go for at least several weeks, of going through two legions for Horus Heresy each week. So we're releasing this episode here on Wednesday. We're also going to hopefully have our normal release on Friday. The worst case scenario might get pushed to Saturday. We thought with all the legions we have to get through that we wanted to be able to get through them a little bit faster. So tonight's episode, we're going to go through Space Wolves. And then on Friday's episode, we're going to continue in order. So we'll be going through Imperial Fists on that night. I wanted to say this part here at the top, just because I know at the very end, you lose some people, and that's absolutely understandable. At this point, for this episode, it's over 2.5 hours long, so I don't blame you if you don't wait till the last, 30 seconds to listen through. But I do want to thank anyone and everyone who is listening. I do want to ask, though, that if you are listening to our content and you are enjoying it, if it's off of YouTube, to please, like and subscribe to it there. We realize right now, I want to say we're like 10% or so of the people who watch, which is not uncommon, especially as you start to release content or at least be more regular with very particular content. But that sort of thing really does help us get noticed and really does show that what we're doing is of use and of value to the community. All right. And with that having been said, now we'll get on to the show. All right, and continuing on our path through all of these legions, we now find ourselves tonight on the 6th Legion. So tonight we're going to go through and discuss everything related to the Space Wolves. If you listen to any of these others that we've done so far, we're going to follow the same basic pattern. We are skipping Rites of War, although one in particular we are going to talk about briefly because I think it's very interesting and it fits a very different sort of design than most of the others anywhere I've seen in any of these books, as well as we're going to do the Primarch and all later. So otherwise, we're going to discuss every single thing through this, including from any other documents that GW has put out at this time. We'll bring that up when we get to those. Little thing we'll mention here is that at least fluff-wise, army-wise, they're really cool, and we're invested in all these armies and the sorts of things it can do. But fluff-wise, I don't know if any of us are actually huge on Space Wolves in terms of the fluff. So, one, we are going to discuss it briefly. This might be a little bit more brief discussions on fluff, but also two, we'll do our best to not say anything that is that wrong. If it is, if you're on YouTube, feel free to mention and all. That's of interest to us, but hopefully we get this at least the larger points correct. So does anyone want to start by saying what they know about Space Wolves, whatever that may be?
Oh, I can do it. It's not even the fact that we don't know much. So I don't want to insult the Space Wolves. They're kind of like the Ultramarines of 40K for me. They're kind of
aren't the Ultramarines the Ultramarines of 40K?
No, but the Ultramarines of 40K are like the poster boys, and they're kind of vanilla, and they're that's why I feel like the Space Wolves are to 30K.
You wouldn't say the Ultramarines are the vanilla?
No, the Ultramarines. Oh no, in 30K, no. Ultramarines are way different in 30K. Post Gilliman's. Well, I was going to say death, but he's not really dead. Post Gilliman, the Ultramarines did change a lot.
So what makes them?
So Space Wolves.
What makes you think they're the more vanilla?
Well, let me see. So Space Wolves are the Emperor's executioners.
Yep.
Essentially, if the Emperor needs someone to die and doesn't want to use the Custodes, he sends the Space Wolves. That's kind of his. I hate to use the term dog on a leash for a Space Wolf, but
it's accurate.
It's an accurate thing. They come from the planet Fenris, which I do believe is a death world.
Yes.
Funny enough.
It is a death world.
Yeah, I was gonna say Fenris is a fucking death world. So for Fenris, it's basically a cold planet, a bug planet. No, it's a cold planet. Bonus points if you get where that's from. It's a cold planet. With large amounts of volcanic activity. I know that their home base, essentially their fortress monastery, or I should not call it monastery yet. Sorry, their fortress is built into the mountain. But yeah, no, essentially they are the executioners of the Emperor, and one of their biggest impacts during the Horus Heresy was essentially to originally arrest the Thousand Sons. A little spoiler, although I mean this is not really a spoiler.
It's
now. This
well
is so
over
old
10
by
years
this point,
old.
but a little spoiler. Yeah, I know. I looked at when the book was, and I like a slow tear went down my. So Magnus essentially gets a vision that the Emperor is betrayed. So Magnus, in an attempt to, some would say hubris, some would say, in terms of helping the Emperor, he rips open a warp portal to the to Terra, essentially just almost basically destroying the Golden Throne and destroying most of the wards he set up. He was building a webway essentially to tell the Emperor of what was going on.
Portioning
but
off the
essentially, the warp gods kind of blind. Yeah. It was actually it was a pretty good thing. But the warp gods kind of blinded Magnus, and so he kind of broke in, and demons were able to break into the throne. It was a whole thing. So the Emperor ordered the Space Wolves not to execute the Thousand Sons, but to bring them in. Because, I mean, let's be honest, as sucky as the Emperor was as a father, I'm pretty sure he didn't want to start a downright war with Magnus. So he orders the Space Wolves to bring it in, and he brings the Custodes, the Sisters of Silence contingent. He brings, like, an armada. The problem was, at this point, Horus had already betrayed the Emperor, and Horus, who's the War Master at the time, orders or convinces Russ that the Thousand Sons were going to betray the Emperor, that's why they broke in there, blah, 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 blah. And so they basically went to eradicate the Thousand Sons. And so the burning of Prospero began, which was essentially a cataclysmic battle. I mean, Istvan was bad. This one actually, unleashed warp and ripped the warp into reality kind of shit. The Thousand Sun Legion was all but annihilated. Most were saved by either Magnus or Ahriman under the something protocol. See, this is the thing. I don't know what Ahriman did. The Sons of Rust suffered extreme casualties. The Custodes actually suffered pretty nasty casualties as well, which was surprising. They should have suffered more, but the Sisters of Silence were there. But that's essentially the Space Wolves. And so to answer Dave's question, the reason I think they're kind of vanilla is, and maybe this is because of the authors, how they write them, they're just...
That's not an answer.
They're just... I don't know how to... Because it's such a, because it's such an opinionated response, what I'm going to say. They're just kind of boring to me. Okay, so the Blood Angels are tragic. You have Sanguinius who knows when he's going to die, who has seen his death, so he can throw himself into combat. So he's a tragic character. You have Horus. You have the Alpha Legion who don't know what side to play for. Hell, you have the Space Wolves to me are just kind of like I see bone, I chase it kind of thing, which reminds me of the Ultramarines in 40K, which is like I'm good boy, me best. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm sure some Space Wolf players are gonna yell at me for saying that. But to me, this is just to get an opinion.
No one has really ever argued. People don't.
We're good.
People may. I see maybe where you're coming from, and I will admit when I read, I don't remember which book it was in the Heresy. It was, Prospero Burns is from the Thousand Sun perspective. There was.
Yes, and then the other one is the Space Wolf.
Yeah, I just don't remember the name of the book off the top of my head right now.
Oh, I can find that in 5 seconds. Keep talking, though.
When I started to read them, I was listening to that one on audiobook, and I got through it for a while, and then the writing itself just kind of beat me down a little bit. I just kind of lost interest in it. And for a lot of those books, I usually didn't. So I in my mind, I don't necessarily think it's because they're very vanilla and things like that, because they have a lot of their own flavor to them. They have a lot of differences from other legions and all. I think maybe it is to some extent sometimes some of the authors, at least that we've read that have written them, that just didn't interest us. And like anything, if you're not interested in the style of the writing of it, it's not gonna keep you involved no matter what cool things it's talking about.
To answer your question, by the way, Dave, the book you read, if it was from the Thousand Sons perspective, is called The Thousand Sons.
Oh, yeah.
All is
sorry.
dust.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. It's The Thousand Sons is theirs.
Prospero Burns.
Yeah.
is the wolf perspective.
Yes.
I will point out that the one interesting thing in that book that really stuck with me, it's really and funny if it stuck with me for 10 years now, I still remember the conversation, was the conversation between the wolf priest, and we'll talk about what a wolf priest is. There's actually, there is the wolf priest and the 1,000 Sons psyker, I guess.
Yeah.
And how the two of them were discussing how the wolf priest believed that he wasn't harnessing the warp, but he was harnessing wolf spirits. And the psyker was, using the dangers of the warp to use powers. And it was a really interesting debate of, I don't know, it was just a really cool kind of side note in the book, of them discussing basically the same thing but from different points of view.
Yes. Steve, any thought in the beginning about Space Wolves? Lore, fluff, all that?
If you're familiar with them in 40K, they are far different in 30K. In some ways. So they maintain that idea of space Vikings, but the wolf thing isn't as central to them. They still have the wolf iconography and the pelts, but you're not going to find Wolfen. They technically come from the Burning of Prospero. The first bits of Wolfen mutations are actually a result of one of the 1,000 Suns rituals they were conducting, causing a giant warp surge, which is what made the flesh change really ramp up, and it caused the Wolfen to emerge. So that was bad for everyone involved. They're not at all a central part of the Space Wolves identity at the time. They were kind of put down, and it didn't really become a prominent issue until post Heresy, if I'm remembering right.
You are correct.
I'm not big into Space Wolves, so it might have been an issue throughout the Heresy for them, but I don't think of it when I think of them in the Heresy.
All right. Why don't we move on to their traits and things like that, since we're a little fuzzy on some of their lore and all. So
I will point out, I read ahead. The rules are great, though.
Yes. To me, you choose a legion because of both fluff, rules, paint, all those sorts of things. You can appreciate a legion for any one of those aspects. You don't have to love a legion's fluff and story to like the other things they do. It just might mean they're not the legion for you necessarily to play.
Exactly.
But no, I mean, their stuff is
not
good.
bad. If you're looking for paint and rules, but not fluff, that's still cool.
Yeah.
You might not hit all three.
Yeah. Does anyone in particular want to take Bestial Savagery?
I'll take this one because I had to play again. So Bestial Savagery, a unit made up of entirely models with the infantry unit type and the Space Wolf Legion Astartes rule that chooses to run in the movements phase may still make a shooting attack in the shooting phase and declare a charge in the assault phase of that same turn. But any shooting attack made in the same turn as that in which a unit with the special rule has run are made to make snapshots. Units that cannot run, such as Cataphracti Terminators, or models that do not have the vehicle or infantry unit type, instead gain +1 weapon skill on a turn, which they successfully charge, even if that charge is considered a disordered charge. Models with the vehicle unit type and the special rule make ram attacks, increase the strength of any hits inflicted as part of the attack by +1 to a maximum of 10. So there's 3 rules in this, essentially. You have the ability to run, shoot, snapshot, and charge. You have the ability, if you do not have vehicle or infantry, to gain +1 weapon skill. Although, okay, stupid question here. Are Contemptors not vehicles? Is that why that is? Or Contemptor, or Dreadnoughts, Contemptors like its own thing?
Yes.
Is that why that is?
Correct.
Yeah,
okay. That's why I was like, my brain was shutting down. I'm like, but Contemptors are vehicles.
Nope,
I don't know why. So, okay. That's what I was like. So yeah, so your Contemptors, Dreadnoughts, those guys get +1 weapon skill on the turn they charge, even if it's disordered, which I'll talk about in a second. And yeah, they get vehicles when they ram get +1 attack, +1 strength to maximum 10. So overall thoughts, I love this. This is amazing. I know Steve will talk about the math in a couple seconds, but the ability to move, run, shoot, even at snapshots, and charge is now that run is
potentially shoot
What
though.
happened?
Because remember, there
Oh,
is
potentially.
still weapons that if you shoot won't allow you to
Yes.
charge. It doesn't break that rule.
Yeah, it doesn't break that, but I'm thinking like, you have your assault marines, you have your tactical squads, for example, who have pistols, right? Pistols can still run and shoot. Yeah, no, it's and Contemptor getting +1 weapon skill on the turn they charge to weapon skill 6, even if they charge multiple things, is insane. Yeah, this is a good rule. But Steve was talking about the math. Go ahead, Steve. I know you were talking about what, assault marines?
Yeah, so assault marines have a 12-inch base move, right? When they have a 7-inch base move, they can activate their jump packs to get movement 12. They can still run with the jump pack activated to give them 16 inches of movement. They can then charge afterwards, which is another 2d6. But because their base movement is 12 when the jump pack is activated, that's another +2 to give you a minimum of 4 on the charge. So now we're talking a minimum of 20-inch melee threat range.
Minimum, by the
You
way.
can run with a jump
That's
pack?
Yeah.
key word there.
It's huge. That's almost the length of No Man's Land. And they could clear No Man's Land if they could just roll a little higher than a 2 on 2 dice. On average, they make it across No Man's Land. It's
this is a terrifying rule. And you'll see this actually blends really well with how they play too. Like I know Steve mentioned the whole entire wolf thing is not a big thing. So I know in 40K, the space wolves are also kind of, I don't know, man. Space wolves, I guess they spam Thunderwolf cavalry. That's still a thing. But melee is a big thing for them in 30K, and having I think they're called blood claws.
Yes,
I think I'm saying that word correctly. Yeah, blood claws is a very interesting thing to get them to get swarm, and it's a pretty damn cool rule in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
the shooting part is not as useful in my mind. It's not bad, but okay, you go to snap, that's not great. And this is an army that wants to be assaulting. You want to be getting in. So there's a lot of the weapons you might not be shooting with. Or what I found, at least so far, reaction wise, a lot of times if my assault unit might not be armed with great weapons or amazing survivability, one or the other, and I may not want to eat the fire that could come back at me. So a lot of times that unit just doesn't shoot. Like if it's a bunch of guys with bolt pistols, I'm probably not firing if the unit I'm charging at or the unit I'm going after has decent weapons, because they're going to kill 2 men of me back. But being able to make your move, get the extra, in general, 4 inches for your initiative, and then still be able to assault is huge. You're now looking at base 11 for most things at minimum, assuming not even assuming a jump pack.
Like Tartaros Terminator scared the shit out of me. Imagine Tartaros moving. What do they move 6?
Yeah,
and then move
7.
They're not
7.
Sorry.
So they move. All right, so they move 7. Then they move 11. Right. They're snap shooting their combi bolters, but who cares? Don't even snap shoot it. That's an 11-inch move. That's insane.
Yeah.
Here's a piece of snap shooting trivia for the two of you.
Okay.
What happens when you force a snap shoot, but you have a flamer?
You don't shoot it. I thought blast weapons can't snap shoot.
No. Well, blast weapons can.
Yeah, blast weapons.
Templates can.
Yeah.
Oh, did they get rid of the temps? I remember.
Templates use Wall of Death now. That's a change from the previous edition.
Yeah, they go straight to Wall of Death.
That's so weird. Okay. That's interesting.
So that means you can run with a unit that has flamers and still throw out
D3
hits per guy, which funny enough, again, means that you don't need to worry about template placement as long as you're within that 8-inch range.
Yep.
And you could get more hits than models in the unit with one gun if there's 1 or 2 models.
A 10-man flamer unit? That's 10d3, which I believe is 20. Is that the average? 20?
20,
yes, on average.
20 on average.
Yeah, that and 20 auto hits too.
And one of their units is essentially a unit with hand flamers. So it absolutely is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. The Hitler. Yeah.
Yep.
But hand flamers are strength 3. Oh, but still, that's not bad.
I take that over bow pistols.
I didn't even think about that combo. That's a
because remember, you're not having to try and hit. Because if it was my bolt pistol, if I have, say, 10 guys with bolt pistols, were you doing, I'm assuming, you're doing a squad 10 guys with bolt pistols, I'm only hitting on average 1 something, maybe 2.
1, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the average is under 2. So I don't care if it's 1 less strength. If I'm getting, on average, 20 hits, I'm going to get a lot more wounds
That's
through on that.
insane. Yeah, that's insane. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's pretty damn cool. I'll give props where props are due.
Small side discussion, because maybe, I don't know, I've played 7, 8 games now at this point. Have any of you, either of you guys, found any time when you've actually wanted to ram? I haven't.
I don't own vehicles. My mechanics
yes,
at least don't own vehicles.
I have encouraged other to ram because there are reasons to do it. Well, not ram, but tank shock.
Okay.
Because it's a way, it's just an extra opportunity to force an enemy unit to potentially fail a morale test and fall back. So if you have units like the spoilers, they get bonuses against a falling back unit because you are falling back if you don't, pass that test.
True.
It's just another opportunity to get that fleeing unit. Yeah, you can then charge, get the extra bonus attack against, and so on and so forth. And plus, units that are falling back are no longer scoring.
Sure. I guess so far, the only vehicles I've brought have had other purposes, or wanting to shoot their guns, or maybe wanting to let people off. They haven't been wanting to sacrifice what they could do to maybe smack some people back. But
yeah, I agree. Listen, it's cool, useful, meh, but it's cool. I'll give props.
yeah. But no, their ability, when we're all said and done, I want to rank all these and see if we can agree on any of this. Would be interesting. But there's just a nice and easy one to do, because it's a nice, easy rule. It does break a core rule of the game, but it's very uniform in the way it breaks it, and it helps be more forgiving, because if you're playing this army, you probably want to get into close combat. You're now better at doing exactly that.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
All right. Advanced reaction. Who wants to take the advanced reaction?
I'll tackle this one, I guess. So, as usual, you have to have a unit that's entirely space rolls to do this reaction, and you have to use it once per game. So, when an enemy unit with one or more miles within 12 inches, I'm just completely failing reading at the moment. 1 second. Okay. So it's a movement phase reaction.
There you go.
Basically, it's triggered when an enemy unit moves within 12 inches of you. And you can immediately respond to that unit moving by making a charge against that unit.
What you do first, you get to make a move of your highest initiative, then charge.
Oh my god, you get to move and then charge. Oh my god, that's amazing. Maybe I should let you take this one, because I'm clearly not able to read right now.
That's okay. So I'll read through it, and then we'll interpret. So again, it's advanced reaction once per game. You have to be entirely space rolls for it. So when an enemy unit with one or more models within 12 inches of a friendly unit, made up entirely of models from your Space Wolves faction piece here, special rule, is moved during the movement phase. So they get within 12 inches. Once the enemy unit that has triggered this reaction has moved, but before any other units are moved, so once they're done moving, but before anyone else goes, a single friendly unit made up of models with the Space Wolves special rule that can draw a line of sight to the enemy that moved may immediately move up to a number of inches equal to the highest initiative characteristic in the unit. So far, that is the movement reaction. But notice it doesn't give a direction on that. So you just may move. And the extra part is, then you may declare a charge targeting the enemy unit that moved if it is within 12 inches. So you're allowed to move in any way you want and charge that unit that triggered you only, as long as they're still within 12. So that does allow you the possibility of moving away because of what they're going to do, or moving to a spot. Maybe I'm moving left or right to be able to get into cover, because this is my scoring unit. They've got to live, and they're coming in with something heavy. A charge declared as part of the reaction is resolved immediately. The enemy unit may not declare any reactions against this charge. because they are the active player, and active players cannot do reactions. And if if successful, the combat will be fought as normal during the following assault phase, with the charging unit, the Space Wolves, gaining all the normal benefits of charging. So it counts as if you had actually done the charge yourself. But that means that the enemy now doesn't shoot. They cannot charge. They are now locked in combat. It's sort of like the normal movement reaction without the direction, and then you can charge them if you want, if they're still within 12. This is one. It is very good. It fits exactly what Space Souls want to be doing. You want to be getting combat. You want to be charging. Rather than them getting the bonus, you are now getting the bonus on charging. You're getting the extras. They can't react, so they can't do anything about it. If you moved at your highest initiative, you figured, let's assume a 4. Let's assume you don't have any cool characters, anything crazy. Even if it's, say, a cataphractic unit, okay, you get to move.
You have to move 3 inches cataphractic.
Because they count, because it's -1 on the initiative is the way the rule is worded, right?
You move one less.
Okay, but even then, so you get to move 3. That's what I thought. I just wasn't sure on their wordings on that. You still get to move 3.
Yep.
And then you can try to charge in. You figure the unit had to get within 12 of you to begin with. If you're saying initiative 4, now you're within 8. At worst. So there's an 8 on 2d6. Maybe you're a little bit faster. Maybe they weren't exactly at 12. It does mean your opponent has to think about when they move close to you, if you haven't used this yet, especially if they want to assure their charge. If you want to try to assure your charge, you're probably going to try to get as close as possible. They know if you haven't used this yet, you could just be the one who charges them instead. And if they've tried to get close enough to get a really
good bonus. The charge still gets the bonus for movement, right? So if I move 7, I still get +1 of the charge.
Not
right?
At 7, you don't. The bonus occurs at 8.
8.
Yes.
Okay.
But yes, because you would declare a charge following all normal rules for a charge. You don't get to break the standard rules. You're just breaking the timing of when a charge occurs. And since you're the reactive player, they do not get reactions because they are not reactive.
Also, to all the people who are mad at me on Facebook, notice how it does say you have to charge the person that caused the reaction. Doesn't say that for Emperor's Children.
It's poor writing. That's all that is. Yeah. No, on stuff like that, I mean, there's spots of this book that are written really well, and there's spots where we can tell what should be said in the parts that are missing. But theirs is of the advanced reactions we've seen so far, theirs, in my mind, is sort of one of, honestly, almost one of the betters, because it can shut down whatever your opponents wanted to do with that unit that got close to you. Maybe they got close because they got a bunch of flame templates. Maybe they got close because they want to assault you. Whatever it may be, the reason they got close, you now can be the one who stops it. If they wanted to shoot, they don't get to shoot at all. If you make the charge, obviously, let's assume you make it. If they wanted to charge you, you're there instead. You get your bonuses. You deny their bonuses. And it doesn't matter what the enemy unit is. And it's once they're done moving. So even if it was, say, a vehicle, if it's a heavy squad, you could potentially, they could still shoot out, but maybe you get in there to be able to actually beat up on the vehicle or something.
Mm-hmm. No, that's really powerful.
It's very powerful and very, very simple. It's not one. It's one of the less complicated ones, which is nice. Are your eyes working now, Steve, or are you still having problems over there?
They have been opened.
Okay.
Wow, that's a reaction.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could get words out beyond that. That's a react. Holy shit!
Yeah.
I played a game against Space Wolves, and they thought about doing the reaction. They never actually pulled the trigger because never gave them a unit worth reacting to. But holy shit!
But here's the thing: even if it's not worth reacting, it still is, because you might shut down that unit at shooting. Right? Let me show.
Well, no, because I throw like a rhino in front. Like, you want to
Exactly.
react
So
this rhino?
let's say you pull out
No.
10 Terminators in front of my super elite unit. I'm like, oh fuck, those Terminators are gonna really screw my plans up. You toss a tactical squad at it or a rhino, and you're like, oh, it's going to die. But now you have stopped them for at least one turn from charging you.
I mean,
Well, I think it's
it
amazing.
could even be used almost to some extent as sort of the ultimate chaff. Here's my unit that I don't really care about because they're cheap, and you're coming for my, let's say, my heavy hitting range unit. You've got close enough. I have a problem. All right, yeah, I'll throw my little attack squad. I'll throw my support squad. I'll let you go and kill those guys because you're gonna kill them anyway. But that was your turn. Now I get my turn to do something.
Hey, Steve, I know you were shitting on. We didn't talk about them. I know you were shitting on the Fenrisian wolf pack, right?
Yeah.
Wait, can they only be taken as a retinue? Hold on.
That's right. Yeah, that is
never mind.
correct.
Yep.
Dan, wait in line.
The ultimate dick move would just be to use the Fenrisian wolf packs as like that assault block.
Yep.
Oh, that would be so big.
You can't.
Never mind. Continue.
All right.
I'm so happy.
It is very good. It is surprising how, I mean, the reactions are very fluffy, which is nice, but they vary greatly in terms of how much I like them. Well, when it's all said and done, I think we'll have to go through and talk about those as well as sort of a listing, because some of them are just much better than others. This one is great.
Yeah. Agree.
All right. Steve, if your eyes are back, do you want to take this first Warlord trade or?
All right, let's see if I can manage with this one.
Right.
Probably should have been wearing my glasses. I don't need them for short. That's concerning. All right, Howl of Mordecai. This is open to anyone playing Space Wolves, not necessarily a loyalist. Yeah. Once per battle, the controlling player of a Warlord with this trait, they declare the use of this trait at the start of their player turn. For the duration of that player turn, only all friendly models with Legion Star Space Wolves special rule get a bonus of +1 strength if the unit they are part of has successfully charged an enemy unit. In addition, an army's Warlord's trait gets 1 additional reaction in the opponent's movement phase as long as the Warlord's not been removed as a casualty. +1 strength is nice, but once per
and
game.
They have to be part of a successful charge. So
yeah,
does
that confer to the squad?
Yes.
So this is one of those things.
It does. Okay.
It affects your entire army.
Oh, okay.
This is one of those things that scales very aggressively into larger games. But I don't know. It really depends on what you're usually fighting.
Yeah.
Because if you have chain bayonets and you go into a dreadnought, this is going to be extremely helpful. Because now you're swinging at strength 6 and you could fish for 5s between the bonus strength and the shred. But I don't know. I guess I'll have to see the other ones, but this isn't jumping out at me as holy shit, I need this.
I don't know. So I agree with you that it's based on the scale of the game. I think in larger scale games, this is more, oh shit, everything has +1 and you made off like 7 charges. You know what I mean? Then we're talking, wow, that's a game changer. I want to point out though, because I did kind of skip ahead a little bit, the frost weapons and the Fenrisian axes do work well with that as well, because almost, if I'm not mistaken, I'm checking right here. Yeah, just not the frost claw, but everything has a +1 strength. They're special stuff. So they're aka their power sword, aka their axe, their great frost blade, all of it has +1 strength. So to time it well, you have a unit with all frost swords or frost axes, that's now +2 strength. So that's pretty damn good, wounding from 3s to wounding to 2s. But that's just. I think it has play. I'm not mad with it. It sucks it's once per game, but I think in a larger game, if you time this correctly, it can be devastating.
Well, but that's why it's once per game. If it was more than once per game,
absolutely,
that's a Legion trait.
Yeah.
2 thoughts on this. The second one is the rules of lawyering don't do this. But for the first thought, yeah, in a big game, this is nice. It can be useful, but having to make the charge means sometimes in those cases, you're really debating when to proc something, when to send it off. And you might say like, ooh, this turn I'm gonna get 2 charges. Maybe that's enough. No, maybe next time I'll get more. And I feel like it could be something you're waiting to make perfect, and it will never be perfect. Just do it. The turn when you're making, you charge with your Warlord's unit, let's say, into their heavier unit. Let's assume people have the standard box, so it's like your Cataphracta unit into maybe their Cataphracta unit. I'm going to use it that turn. If I have a really good shot at the charge, I'm going to use it that turn, because a +1 on that gives me a really good chance of maybe, say, cutting through them. Or, I don't think you wait for the perfect play. The second part, and this is where rules as written versus rules as intended are not always the same. And if we were in Britain, they would say something.
I'm curious as to where you're going.
When you read the full rule, because of the way they've been careful with this.
It's silly the way you're reading it. I know exactly what you're seeing.
I'm so confused. I want to hear this.
So it says, for the duration of that player turn, all friendly models with this special rule gain a bonus of +1 strength if they were if the unit they are a part of has successfully charged an enemy unit. That's all it says. Okay. When? It doesn't say that turn.
So, correct. On either of those.
I charged you last turn. I successfully charged you. I now get my bonus. It's not that.
Okay.
This is...
It does not work like that.
I'll say.
I see. Okay, yeah, no, I see what you're... Okay.
Don't use it that way. But
don't ever... Yeah, no, I don't think... Yeah,
and this is why... This is why with a game like this, there's tons of pages. The rules are spread out between multiple books. Did you guys see on... literally every... Because I'm in all the special... 30K groups now to be able to advertise these out. So I saw this guy post Facebook everywhere as well. He put all the special rules and all this kind of stuff together. It's like this shorter document now. I saw it all over Facebook. On the YouTube, I will link to it as well. I didn't see it. I'll link it in our Discord later when I get a chance. But it's like special rules as well as I think like essentially it's here's all the stuff you kind of need that's the stuff that you're hunting for. Here's all kind of nicely put together. Which is good. It's an awesome resource.
That's nice.
But
I just have the Excel sheet on my phone because I have Excel on my phone.
I'm still useful, absolutely useful. That's why you have to make an assumption in this sort of game that it is, as always, GW games have been a permissive rule set. If it doesn't explicitly say that you can do something, you cannot. And you have to read what you have here with that sort of grain of salt of non-abuse. Like, it's intended to be that round. They just didn't say it. And they would say who wants to use it otherwise that they're doing something wrong. But I would still love to see certain things like FAQs on this, just because then it purely clarifies it and it sets the right precedent. Because there's other spots where they've been very careful with their wording and they would have put the extra bit in. So you look at it and say, well, somewhere else they said like that phase, but here they didn't. You don't want those to be arguments. So
I would laugh. I would laugh if literally they're arguing that no, we wrote it correctly. You can do it whenever. So if you're on turn 3, but you charged successfully during the game, you can do this. I would fucking laugh.
I mean, if they go that avenue, then like...
Hold on. I'm going to see something real quick because shit me. I got to find it is the problem. Okay. And it doesn't show up on Google. No, because I'm trying to find... They had a very similar rule in first edition, known as the Howl or whatever, the Wolf Howl or whatever. And I'm wondering if that one specifically said it. And the problem is it's on 1D4, but of course 1D4 doesn't show up on Google anymore.
Well, if you want, you can go ahead quietly and go take a look for that. I'll take the next Warlord trait in a moment. But yeah, I don't anticipate that the rule. I'll put it this way. If they came forward and said like, yeah, man, it doesn't matter when you charged. Did you ever successfully charge? Get a bonus this round when you feel like it. Then every rules lawyer argument and thought comes out of the woodwork and is now all valid. Like they can't mean it that way. Because if they did, any other spot where the wording wasn't perfect, now is a free-for-all.
Disgusting.
I know, right?
Here we are.
So I'm not gonna lie though, if that was the way they had worded it and they explicitly were that way, that would be funny. I would be fine with that. It's turn 5. I've marked which units have charged someone. I'm still in combat. I'm now stronger. Like, I'm fine with that. Just don't let it be that way. They can't let it be that way. All right. While Dan's reading, then I will read the next one. He can get stuck with Crownbreaker. I will read Hunger of the Void. A Warlord with this trait gains an additional wound at the end of the assault phase, in which he inflicts at least one unsaved wound on an enemy. This cannot increase the Warlord's wound characteristics above his starting value, including any bonuses he may have. But if this effect is triggered while the Warlord has his maximum possible number of wounds, he instead gains +1 attacks and strength until the end of the controlling player's next turn. In addition, an army whose Warlord has this trait gets an additional reaction in the opposing player's assault phase as long as he's not killed. Do they get... Are Space Wolves restricted? I know in like 40k they have like weird restrictions on like apothecaries and all. Do they have that in 30k?
In this edition, they dropped restrictions on a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna say no, they don't have those restrictions, because if they had them, it would be written in either the Warlord traits, like the Salamanders have it, or in their Rights of War.
I think this one, to me, I mean, okay, you're probably an assault type army, so therefore you're taking your Warlord to be assault like, he's a, Praetor with whatever weapon sort of outfitting you want to put on him. This would be terrible if it was just the first part that you get a wound back if you cause a wound to someone, because there's a chance they didn't hurt you because maybe you're in a challenge and you beat them up first. But the fact that if that doesn't happen, if you're already fully healed, that you get an extra attack and a strength is huge. I've learned, so I've been running the Deathwing Unbroken Vow, which on cursory glance kind of looks like a really bad Rite of War. This is the Rite of War that essentially a bunch of stuff has to be Deathwing. You put down an extra objective in the middle of the board, and if I don't have it, you get some points, and if you have it, you get even more points. So essentially, I'm giving you points if I don't take this thing. It lets Cataphracti and heavier units like that be troops, though not lines, so not scoring. And there's an argument as to, is it good and things like that. But what I've realized in the games I've played so far, the part I really liked about it is if your guy has a sword, if he's Deathwing, so if he's Deathwing, you're going to put a sword on him. Why not? Because that's how you get your bonuses as well. He gets +1 attack. I have had a lot of success having both my Praetors as well as Centurions and things like that, as my Librarians, whoever, having an extra attack. Having +1 attack makes a huge difference, I find. So I like this for having that extra strength, having that extra attack, because now I'm more likely to actually win this combat versus you. If we're in that challenge and I have this, most likely I'm killing you. Maybe you won't kill me, because if we're, big guy versus big guy, let's assume not like power fist or anything crazy. Big guy versus big guy, a lot of times we're on like 4s and maybe 4s or 3s or 2s. The extra attack means I'm just getting more in on you. I like this one a lot. And assault phase reaction.
No, I agree. I was gonna. So I'll even talk from like a 1.0 point of view. As custodies, one of the biggest things that, like, especially our troops suffered from was the lack of attacks. We only had 2 attacks per custodian. Sure, we had 3 wounds, but only 2 attacks. So if you had 3 dudes, that's 6 attacks. It doesn't help. It was really kind of sucky. So gaining that +1 attack and strength, fine, whatever. But gaining that +1 attack, I think, is a big thing. Plus the additional reaction in the assault phase is pretty nice too, because then you can overwatch and then also set to defend. I know that's not what it's called. I always forget what it's called, but I call it set to defend. And you make it a disordered charge. I like that. I like it. It's actually really good.
Hold the line.
Oh
no, it's called the reaction's called hold the line.
Oh. I was like, wait, what happened?
Here's the nice part about +1 strength.
That's funny.
a lot of your initiative weapons are not very high strength. Yeah, your chain fist double my strength, sure, but that's unwieldy. I kind of don't want my Praetor swinging last because I'm worried about what you could be armed with and you maybe kill him first. Or I want to make sure that I can kill you before it's mutual destruction because we insta-death each other out. So an extra strength,
I
like
wonder
I said,
if
some of these axes or swords are only like strength like +1 and stuff like that. Or the great Frostblade. Okay, let's go looking ahead. Strength +2. Hey, +3. Now I'm hurting kind of whatever I want for that turn if I need be. So
yeah. No, I agree. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, and it heals too.
yes.
That's only it can heal, which is nice.
All right. Any particular thoughts on that, Steve?
Um,
I mean, I think you guys covered it. No matter what, as long as you're killing characters, it's nice. Well, not
Yeah,
even characters,
just cause an
models.
unstable and hurt
the
something.
model, yeah.
You're probably in a
Fuck
challenge,
it,
so you
make
probably
your
have hurt a
sergeant take the
character.
challenge.
But the following round, or take the challenge with
Yeah.
your sergeant. He goes in and slaughters a whole bunch of other guys.
Yeah, take a sergeant with have him cleave through the rest of the
Yeah.
squad.
Oh, this is great. This is great.
All right, Dan, did you ever find what you were looking for?
The next one sounds cool. Yeah, let's see what this one is. It sounds cool. I like it. Crownbreaker. The warlord and all models in the unit he has joined gains the preferred enemy independent character special rule. Those models also gain the Feel No Pain special rule when locked in combat with one or more enemy models with the independent character special rule. In addition, pardon me, you get an additional reaction in the movement phase, as long as you're not removed as casualty. Okay.
Oh god, it's gonna be Mechanicum time, isn't it?
Remember, you're allowed to talk about things that aren't your own army.
Let me explain to you why I'm pausing. So, the Mechanicum in 1.0 and in the playtest rule have a specialized Magos called the Malagra that gives preferred enemy to the squad and himself for independent characters, right? It doesn't give Feel No Pain, just gives preferred enemy, and then it does other stuff, but that has helped me. And yes, people might say, but at maximum, there's only 3 independent characters on the field at a time, right? At maximum. Right, yeah, I don't think there's an independent character elite.
If you have an allied detachment, you could have more.
Oh, wait, no, independent character elite. Oh, you could be HQ, like you have.
That's what I'm talking about. Just independent characters in general.
Okay, but like maximum normal 3. So this will only work on 3 units. But from experience, that preferred enemy has helped me so many times it is not even funny. Just ignoring the Feel No Pain, the ability to reroll 1s on your hits and on your wounds is amazing. And then on top of that, the unit gets Feel No Pain. So I can imagine this on a warlord who's with his Death Squad. That's not what it's called. Death Star Squad. Put him in a unit of, I don't know, I haven't looked at the elite units yet, but maybe put him in one of the elite units, right? That hurts hard. Put him in a Spartan. He pops out. He's going to be targeting your independent character squads. Now they have Feel No Pain. Now they have preferred enemy. I think this is great. That's just my reaction with preferred enemy. I think preferred enemy is one of the underwritten kind of hidden rules that is probably one of the best in the game. But that's just me.
Agreed. Preferred enemy is absolutely massive. That's a nice trait. That's a nice little warlord trait to have.
I mean, it's only independent characters, but
I absolutely prefer the other 2.
But independent characters, the entire unit
is
subject to the penalty.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, I honestly prefer the other 2. It's not bad. Like I can see its uses, but it orchestrates very strongly exactly what you are going to attempt to do. I'm going to try to throw my warlord unit at your unit that has an independent character. Otherwise, I get literally nothing from movement phase reaction is fine. I kind of like the other ones more, but this could be a thing where I'd have to. But I think this skews when you play it because you're either going to play it and, like you said, Dan, I had something like this and it became clutch. it was great. But if you had it, and let's say in a game you didn't get to use it because their independent characters were too far, then what you would have told us is maybe more good. It's not that great.
No, but see, here's the thing. Like most events I've gone to, and Steve can correct me on this, I have yet to see a list with one independent character. It's always 2 or 3. Now, I'm not sure on 2.0 yet, but every 1.0 game I played had 2 or more independent characters. So when my Magos would be shooting into that squad, normally, now mind you, I had my Magos in a shooting squad that would be not like, it's basically direct fire artillery. Imagine it like that. It was basically shooting las cannons at you. But the ability to reroll ones on the hit and the wound was fantastic for me. And then also they used to charge, and that's AP too. Sure, they hit on 4s, but they're rerolling 1s on the hit and rerolling 1s on the wound. So I don't know. To me, I feel like listen. Is it the most powerful auto take ability in the game? No.
That's not a good argument, though. Saying, is it the best thing ever? No. Well, nothing's the best thing ever.
No, I know. It's like auto take. No. But I think it's actually, I would dare say, more powerful than the other two, because unless you're playing like small 1,500 point games or 1,000 point games, if you're playing event style games that are 2,500, 3,000 points, you're going to see multiple independent characters, and I think that pays for itself. Because it confers to the unit. Now, I was going to say, before I do anything stupid, if I was playing against this, I would divorce my independent character from the squad and item. That would be an interesting kind of counterplay to this.
Well, I think it depends on what type of unit it is. In my mind, if you are wanting more shooting units, then I'm okay with Crownbreaker. Because like you said, you get it in shooting, stuff like that. I get more uses. Because if it's your close combat unit, if we're playing a bigger game, there is potential ways to avoid you if I'm really worried about that. If not, you do have some sort of bonus against me, but there's more mitigation potential.
Yes.
Where some of the other ones are more of just it just happens. You have it. There's a lot of ways to get it. But if you're taking on a shooting unit,
okay, makes sense.
Okay, I'm more sold on it.
To be fair, To be fair, and you've played against them, Dave. That's the Mechanicum unit with the Lance battery on the top of their shoulders.
Was that the one
like
where
strength 7 AP 2?
That guy, or like that unit, or was it a different unit?
Yeah, it's got the 2 shots. I kept burning myself.
That is true. On your first roll on the Gets 4 dice, you rolled a set of 1s onto one of them, and the guy
3
took
1s. Yeah.
That's true.
But no, that I would take like a squad of 4 of them, stick the Magos in there, and that was my dedicated. You shoot Terminators, or you shoot the independent character. Stupid question. If the independent character is inside a vehicle, I'm assuming the preferred enemy also then converts to the vehicle.
No, it does
the
not.
vehicle's not an independent
Sure?
character.
And he's not
attached to the vehicle.
So here's the problem.
He's not attached to the vehicle.
There it is. Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm. Okay, because I know it confers to the unit. It can, like, if there's an independent character in the unit, then you gain preferred enemy.
No, it doesn't go to the vehicle.
It doesn't go to the vehicle because it's not attached to the vehicle. Got it. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. That would be funny. That would then I'd be like,
yeah, but we can always say, hey, rules would be so much better if they weren't the rules we get to play with.
Yeah, exactly.
If I can do what I want.
No, I wanted to make sure. Yeah, just wanted to make sure.
Very briefly before we go to Armory, I just want to mention their first right of war, and I'm not going to go through and discuss it, but I want to mention it because, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think any other right of war works quite this way. It's their Black Watch. It's loyalist. Okay, that's fine. Has to be an allied detachment. It can never be your primary detachment for this one. And this is your Primarch hunters. Their whole idea, their whole goal was to go out and kill traitor Primarchs. So they have all bonuses and special stuff related to that. I won't say it's good. It's not, because unless you know exactly what you're fighting, it's garbage. But this is great for a fluffy thing.
No, wait. They still get hatred traitors. And remember, Steve did find that rule, which I completely forgot what page it was.
It's not a real rule. It's not a real rule.
Oh,
that wasn't a thing. No,
I thought we found the thing where if you're playing against your opponent. Oh, that sucks then. So it's an event-only rule. Or event-only right. But I could see this. I mean, this would be cool with Custodes. That would be really stupid fluffy. I bet you $5 it's from the custodians. I'm saying aftermath of the Tourism and Prospero. I guess so. I don't know. I can't tell from the fluff. They only get +2 to their charge roll, which is nice.
I just wanted to mention it because it is actually it's just a cool idea. It's a cool concept.
It's nice. No, I like it. It's very different from another Rite of War. It's very different. Right. But that is cool. I will give props where props are due.
All right, let's get into the armory.
All right, the armory.
All right. Does anyone have a particular thing that they want to talk about?
The ironic part is I feel like, I was going to say the Fenrisian and the Frostblades. Wait. I'll do the Frostblades if someone wants to do the act.
Are you eating? Okay, it almost sounds like you are. Every now and then, yeah. When you come back in, sometimes it almost sounds a little bit garbled. It's weird. All right, I believe you for now.
Oh, that's weird.
All right.
Someone do the Fenrisian axe. I'll do the Frostblades.
I'll take the Fenrisian axe, so I can kind of lay the groundwork for one of its special rules. So, any model with the Legionaries of Astartes basal special rule may exchange a chainsword for a Fenrisian axe for 2 points each. Its benefits are +1 strength and Reaping Blow 1. Reaping Blow is an interesting rule that I'm not convinced I love on unit. So basically what that means is if you find yourself in base contact with more than one enemy model, you get a bonus number of attacks equal to the Reaping Blow value. It is base to base, right?
Yeah, it's base to base.
Yeah. So if you position your models perfectly, a 5-man squad could get the benefit against like an enemy's 5-man squad. But when you get to 10-man squads, all of a sudden you're not getting that benefit so much anymore. I would rather have the chainsword shred in most cases.
Oh yeah, because it's not because our chainswords are +1 strength as well, right?
No, the chain bayonets are. But chainswords is the shred.
Okay.
And I'd rather have shred than strength 5.
I like Reaping Blow. I do. I don't know if I would give up shred for it. But it is +1 strength too, so I don't know. That's a hard decision.
There is one scenario where you could maximize this weapon's use, but it's a weird one. When you're fighting across a barricade, if you're touching the barricade, all enemies within 2 inches count as base to base.
Okay.
So if you find yourself assaulting a lot of defense lines, then yeah, by all means, go for this. But otherwise, it's just it's in a rough spot because of that.
To make it good, you need to be having the Reaping Blow work at least on several of them, because on pure math, without the Reaping Blow, obviously the shred is better because it's 75% chance instead of 67% chance. If you can get, the thing is, like, one person paying these extra points getting Reaping Blow, you're still not balancing out. You don't need all of them, because every guy who does is now better overall, and especially because an extra attack is overall, if you can do it, is always better than a reroll, because an extra attack can get 2 hits, a reroll can only get 1. But you need to get at least a few of them in.
Yeah.
I would say on a smaller unit, I'm fine with this. On a big unit, you might just be kind of throwing extra points in and all, but it's not bad. And at least it replaces just a chainsword, and you have a lot of units that have bolt pistol chainsword, so. And it's not
the thing that kills it for me is that it's also costing you 2
But here's
points.
the other thing, and this might be, you'd have to model them. In particular, I mean, this is an axe, so you could do that. But it's not a full unit replacement. It's any model. So could I split my unit? If I have a unit of chainsword guys, I'm sure they have their own special name with guys. I don't remember the names. Grey Stalkers or Slayers, one of those. I could change a few of them. They're my guys who run in front. They will position themselves to get me a few extra attacks.
Okay. And the chain swords come behind. That's
Yeah.
not a bad idea, actually.
Unlike a lot of rules, because
That's
there's a
okay.
lot of these Armory ones that say everyone in your unit may do this. It doesn't say that, so I would consider a little bit of a mixture. So that way I have a little bit extra strength, maybe get a couple extra attacks in, and that might help me against some of those either potentially heavier targets, or if they just happen to have a large number. Oh, this way I can actually potentially get more and more hits to try and get more and more saves out of you.
That's actually not a bad plan. I like that a lot,
Yeah.
actually.
Like
I have a squad of 20, but like the first.
I'm thinking, say, squad of 10. If you have a squad of 10, because I'm not going up to 20.
A squad of 10? Give the
if I'm a
first.
squad of 10,
Yeah.
I might do half and half.
Squad of 10, give the first 5. Yeah, give the first 5. Yeah, that's not an idea. I like that a lot. That's actually not a bad idea.
Because like you said, yeah, in a squad of 10, they're not all going to be able to get base to base with more than one model. But I'm probably going to get half. I could aim for half. Gives me some bit of bonus and keeps my points cheaper.
Especially that they can run in charge, too. The fact that they can run in charge. Yeah. No, I agree. That's a pretty not a bad idea.
A pretty not bad idea. I love that.
Pretty not bad idea.
Talk about these chili blades.
All right. Yeah, the frost blades. I like these. So any model with the Legion of Starry Space will have an independent character rule. May exchange a power weapon for a frost blade, which is a frost blade to them. It can be a sword, axe, claw, at 5 points a pop. You could also exchange a power weapon for a great frost blade for 10 points. So each of them are 5. The great frost blade is 10. So essentially, these are upgraded versions of power swords, power axes, lightning claws, and I don't know what the upgraded version of a great frost blade is.
Big old two-handed
plus 2 strength
sword.
But it's not unwieldy. So I'll get to that in a moment. So frost sword is plus 1 strength, AP 3. It's specialist weapon, reaping blow 1. Not bad. Okay. It's AP 3, which does suck against you. You have an artificer sergeant.
That's standard versus
but no, a sword has rending.
Okay, so maybe on my power 6 I do extra. I'm not so worried
exactly. I still like it. I'm not gonna say I don't like it. I still like it. Frost axe, very much like a normal power axe. It's plus 1 strength, AP 2. Melee, specialist weapon, unwieldy, but reaping blow 1. So again, you get an extra attack. That one I like a lot more, by the way. That one I do like a lot more. Frost Claw, Strength User, AP 3. Melee, Specialist Weapon, Shred, Reaping Blow 1. This one I like more than the Frost Sword. I think so here's the thing. The Frost Sword I think should have kept rending, because why would I ever take a Frost Sword for the same points I'd just take a Frost Claw? I lose a Strength, but I gain Shred. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. And the last thing, the Great Frostblade, which is really cool. Strength plus 2, AP 2, melee, reaping blow, two-handed, not unwieldy.
It's reaping blow 1. Because you said reaping blow. It's reaping blow 1, yeah.
Oh, it's like reaping blow 1, yeah. So, out of all these, so a Great Frostblade competes with basically a Paragon Blade, essentially, is what you're competing with. Would you take this over a Paragon Blade?
It's probably, well,
maybe.
It's, in general, I think, cheaper than a lot of times for Paragon Blades.
But it is cheaper. No, it is cheaper, but you lose the murder strike.
But here's the thing. It doesn't have to compete with a Paragon Blade, because models that cannot take a Paragon Blade can take a Great Frost Blade.
Oh, true. You're right. Oh, yeah, because it's not... All right. But yeah, no, I like...
It is competing on the Praetor, but it's not competing on
anyone else.
A Chaplain.
I think you spend the 10 points to get a Great Frostblade. And the fact that it's not unwieldy makes it pretty damn good. Because you gain the extra attack, you base multiple people with one person, which is not that hard to do. You gain that extra attack, plus the one that you charged, right? You're assuming you charged, right? So that's plus 2 attacks on the charge, essentially. At strength 6, AP 2, that's not bad.
No, it's not good. Bad at all. Things are allowed to be good.
Yeah.
No, that is good.
Yeah, no,
you can't get a bonus for weapons. But the other ones, since they're specialists, can be tough to get the bonus for anyway. It's possible, but it's tough.
Yeah. The Frost Claw is great. I don't know why you would ever take a Frost Sword over a Frost Claw. Like a Frost Axe, I can understand. It's AP2 +1 strength. It's unwieldy, so you're basically it's a power. It's an axe. It's an axe with reaping blow, but you're striking at the same time as probably an Artificer Sergeant. Why would you ever take a Frost Sword over a Frost Claw?
So it depends.
Like, I'm trying to.
If you're assuming Space Marine v Space Marine, yes, the Claw is in general better because you're at 75% instead of 67%. Essentially because you get to 50% chance rolled twice or one better. Where it could be potentially helpful is for things that are a little bit tougher, because now if something has higher toughness, the reroll is not going to help you quite as much, or it might mean that you can't necessarily hurt it, or maybe now you're only looking at 6s and all. Getting a 5-up or a rerollable 6, now we can start talking about potential some spots of odds and all. It's probably the Claw better in many cases.
I like the weapons.
But
yeah, I was gonna say, because even let's say you're hitting toughness 5, Dave, right? Let's assume you hit with everything. Assume you hit with everything. You're still only getting 50% of the Frost Sword through, but I think you're getting a higher percentage of the Frost Claw.
You'd be missing 2/3 times 2/3, so it'd be 4/9. So it is a little under. Yeah, because you're 4 out of 9. Okay. So
yeah, not exactly.
Now, again, I would say by looking at this, I think part of it is, what do you have on your guy? If your model has a sword, the Frost Sword is not bad. If that's just the way your model looks.
I'm not saying. I was going to say,
the Claw, the Claw of the Space Marines is better if you're going Space Marine for Space Marine.
Yeah. But honestly, I would just fuck the Claw. I would spend the extra 5 points
was the miss. My apologies. Be 5 out of 9, so it's a little bit better chance. Yeah.
Okay. And then strength 6, and then toughness 6. Both are wounding on 6s. No, one is wounding on 5s, one is wounding on 6s re-rolling. Which would then be 1/6 plus 1/6.
Not plus. So
as a plus times.
If you need an and, so the easier way to do that is by fail. You fail 5 out of 6. So to not wound, you need to fail, and then you fail again, essentially, since you have a reroll. So be 25 out of 36 is the fail. That means it's 11 out of 36 for the success. So,
which would mean, give me a second, I have a calculator.
30%.
That's 30. Yeah. So then again, if you're hitting toughness, well, no, 30% is still needing 5s to wound. Yeah.
No, it would be 33%. Tiny bit better if you're going against something toughness, say 6 or 7, or if you had to fight an 8. The Claw is probably better in most cases.
Or just spend the extra, or just spend the extra 5 points and just take a Great Frostblade, because that's amazing.
Yeah.
+2 strength, AP2, not unwieldy. Yeah, no, that's
Assuming
great.
You can, yeah. All right, let's go. Let's take a look at this armor here then. So this is Aether Rune armor. Any model with both the Space Wolves rule and independent character that does not have the unique unit subtype may exchange the Artificer armor for Aether Rune armor for 25 points. It's a 2-up armor save. In addition, increases the wound characteristics of the model that has it by 1 and gives them Adamantium Will 4-up. So for 25 more points, you get an extra wound and Adamantium Will. That's really expensive. It is very, very expensive.
It is, but you could pair that with the Warlord trait, where you heal a wound.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Yeah, that's great.
I find I'm always of 2 minds related to some of this. I like the idea of having an extra wound, although I've seen in many cases, your leader or okay, it's an independent character. It does not have to be your Warlord, but your guy's still like toughness 4 probably, which means depending on what I'm going against, I can still just get doubled out.
Exactly.
I'm iffy on those extra wounds sometimes. It's nice when I'm not, but I've seen plenty of cases where it's like, oh man, if I don't swing now, or if I don't kill you now, or if I don't make these saves, I'm just dead anyway. It doesn't matter how many wounds I have. Because your big heavy guy's got a big heavy weapon.
But to be fair, to be fair, if he has a great Frostblade, you'll probably kill that person before you get doubled out.
Assuming it's another like Praetor or something like that. Yeah. Or at least
Well, not even a Praetor. Like, let's say you're going against like a Sergeant, right? Like a normal Sergeant with a Power Fist,
yeah.
right?
So if you're going against someone who's going to take the hit on initiative, you know, if you're going against say a Contemptor, he ain't going to care.
Yeah. No, that's
It's not bad. To me, this would be the last purchase. If I happen to have 25 extra points, I'll throw it on. I'm not putting this to start because my Praetor, again, it could be on a different guy, but I'm thinking on him. He's already getting somewhat up there in price on me because of the other stuff I want to run on him.
Yeah, but Adamantine Will is also really, really good. Adamantine Will is also really good.
As long as you're fighting Psykers.
And as long as you're fighting Psykers,
I mean, to be fair, though, we mentioned this, very true. But we did mention this, so let me, again, this goes back to 1.0. But I used to take my Tribune with a 30-point upgrade that let me deny a psychic power.
Which is not the sort of thing anymore.
Did it work always? No. No, I know. But what I'm saying is, did it work always? No, it didn't. But when it did, it was way worth the 30 points that I was able to do, right? Like, what I'm saying is, are you going to face Librarians all the time? Actually, probably more so now more than ever, because Librarians are really good. But if you're not, right, does it still justify the 25 points? And I say yes. Only because, one, Librarians I think are going to be more extensive this edition. And two, if it works, it works. Like, this is a really, really good thing. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
You're allowed to have opinions. It's good to have opinions.
Yeah. You know, it's because it's like I'm playing from a point of I had an army with no psychic defense whatsoever.
So here's the thing, because I just pulled Adamantine Will, because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I haven't come across it. So a model with the special rule gains an invulnerable save against any wound inflicted by a weapon with the Force or Psychic Focus special rules, and wounds inflicted by perils of the warp, and so on. If for any so they're better at. They essentially get an invul save in certain scenarios. That's what it really does, and perils. So one, if they are a psyker, this actually could be good because it helps save them from perils. But
could have probably prefaced and said you put this on the psyker.
But here's the thing: they're already expensive. I'm putting extra points on. But here's the other thing. Okay, you're going against an army that has a psyker in it. This doesn't help you shut down a power. All this means is if the power's causing you wounds, you get an invul save. You might have already had one. Your Praetor would already have one because he has an Iron Halo.
A better one.
Your next level down, your Centurion, stuff like that, your Consularis probably already has a 5-up. So I'm getting maybe one extra. If it could actually hurt psychers or stop powers, yes, it's just a nice safeguard.
Okay.
I'm not as sold on that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said your thing. It makes sense that you said in the first edition because your thing could shut down a power. This doesn't shut it down. This just means if you actually hurt me.
Well, Adamantium Will didn't shut down a power. It gave you Adamantium Will in the first edition gave you like an extra save. I thought for a second I misread it. I thought Adamantine Will was like a female pain against it.
No,
I didn't realize it was invulnerable.
Nope, it's an alternative invulnerable.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
It's not
that makes it less.
It's either the attack or there's wording there, so it's the weapon with Force or Psychic Focus special rule. I don't know if all your powers have that, and right now I'll tell you right now, the powers that I'm liking don't cause wounds. They stop your reactions or make me tougher. I'm not using the base powers to hurt you. The weapons, sure, but that's another story. All right. Is that it for the war gear, gentlemen?
I think that's it, yeah.
So
now the 500 million console upgrades.
So the first one's quick, the Jarl. Since he's there, we'll go through him real quick. I'll go through them real quick, and then you guys can talk about other people that have more rules. Person who's a Praetor, Cataphractic Praetor, or Tartarus Praetor. who's a Space Wolf, can take the Jarl upgrade for 10 points. They gain counterattack 2 special rule. So if they get charged instead, you still get some extra attacks. And a model with this upgrade may also be given the skirmish unit subtype at no additional points cost. This must be decided at the start of the battle for any models are deployed and may not be changed during the battle. What does skirmish do again?
Counterattack 2.
Skirmish gives you an extra inch, I think, in coherency, if I'm not mistaken.
You get 1 inch extra coherency and a bonus of +1 to cover saves.
Oh, +1 to cover saves is not bad.
You would.
Don't forget that the coherency bonus spills out into close combat engagement ranges as well.
Why? Okay. The only reason I can think of why I wouldn't want skirmish is if my guy was, say, heavy, and I want to be able to get reroll versus.
Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive.
Ordnance roll.
They're not mutually exclusive.
No, you're right.
You could have every subtype in the book.
So why wouldn't you choose this?
That's true. You could be skirmish and heavy. 3-inch coherency is amazing, and
I
you get
assumed
now
it was
4
replacement.
cover save.
If it's not, why wouldn't you choose it? What's the downside? Because it says you may choose.
Oh, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you then?
Yeah, I don't know why you would never choose.
There's got to be
for 10 points.
In other words, okay, the 10 points you get counterattack. Fine, I don't care about any of that for the moment. When you upgrade your Jarl, you can choose to give him skirmish if you wish. The question is, why? If you picked this upgrade, why wouldn't you give him skirmish? What's the downside? Is there any downside to being skirmish?
Can you actually? So then, Steve, does it say you can't be multiple unit types?
No, it's just that. So the skirmish cover save bonus only applies if the entire unit is skirmish. But okay, so you only get the benefits if the entire unit is skirmish. But most of the Space Wolf special units are skirmish.
No, but what Dave is asking, like it says if.
No, there is no downside. So there's games where it might not matter at all to make the declaration, but there's no downside to the declaration.
That's why I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if there was a bad reason why you may not. But the only reason would be if you're not taking like skirmish units, then it doesn't do any good. So why bother? But otherwise, okay. I wasn't sure if there was a problem with it. Otherwise, all right. So someone can take the Pack Thane.
All right.
Go ahead, Steve. You haven't spoken in a while.
Right. So the Pack Thane, it's a 10-point upgrade to your Centurions, Cataphractii Centurions, and Tartaros Centurions. Long and short is they gain the counterattack special rule. They could also become skirmish if you want them to be skirmish. And they cannot be on bikes, either jet bikes or combat bikes. Either way, they can't be on bikes. Basically, it's just, hey, guess what? You're a Space Wolf.
Wait, what's the difference between this and the Jarl? Oh,
yeah, it's who?
Centurion.
Jarl's Praetor, Thane's a Centurion.
Got it. I was like, wait, it's the same
the
game.
Jarl gets counterattack 2. This is counterattack 1. So.
1, got it. Okay. I was so confused. All
right.
What the hell?
Well, that at least was fast because those were nice and simple.
Yeah, it was nice.
Speak of the dead,
this dude. Yeah, Speaker of the Dead. So this is an upgrade for Legion Centurion, Tartaros Centurion, Cataphractii Centurion. Has to be a Space Wolf, obviously. And you get the following upgrade, 65 points. And then my joy of this is, have you ever wanted an apothecary, but also a chaplain? No. So, so the Speaker of the Dead must increase his leadership to 10. And the Speaker of the Dead in all models with the Legion Astartes special rule. With the gain stubborn and hatred everything. In his unit, sorry. Gain the stubborn and hatred special rule. He also has a Narthisium and a Mastercrafted Power Ball for no additional cost. So essentially, and he can't select 2 lightning claws or a boarding shield, so he can't get rid of. Basically, he's restricted to basically replacing the Power Ball. This is amazing. For 65 points, you have both an apothecary and also a chaplain at the same time. This is, for 65 points, amazing. What's it normally for a Primus Medicae? What's the upgrade?
Too much.
I was going to the book now to go and find it.
Much.
I don't remember.
Yeah. What's a Primus Medicae and then what's a chaplain? That's what I need to know.
I'm on it right now. So, your chaplain is 35 points. You want the Medicae?
Okay.
The Medicae is 45.
Primus Medicae, yeah. Yeah, 65 points to get both, and he becomes leadership 10?
Why not?
Yeah, no. That's amazing. Wait, does the chaplain also give stubborn to the unit? Or is it just hatred?
Now you're making me look.
Huh.
Fun fact, that's not what they do anymore.
No, the chaplain does still give hatred. Chaplain still gives hatred, I believe.
Okay.
Sorry, I was thinking of the fear. They
So chaplain,
no longer give.
His leadership characteristic goes to
Yeah.
10.
Stubborn
He
and
gives
hatred.
stubborn and hatred. So it is
Yep.
literally the full rules of a
Oh, he does give
chaplain with Narthesium. Yeah.
With the Narthesium, yeah. No, I love this mod. This is great. 65 points for a chaplain apothecary? Please. And the big thing with the Primus Medic, for people who are like, why is that so big? Just take 1 and 1. Well, remember, ladies and gentlemen, the only person that can go in a Terminator squad is a Primus Medicae, because then he can be wearing Terminator armor. So if you want to take Terminators with apothecaries, and you want just a little bit more bang for your buck, not just an apothecary, you take a Speaker of the Dead, who now gives your Terminator squad hatred and stubborn. This is great. No.
Why can't apothecary go in?
Apothecaries cannot go in because apothecaries can't wear Terminator armor.
So you can't join a unit that doesn't look like your armor?
Only. Well, no, you would.
For the apothecary rule and the tech marine rule, that is correct.
Yes.
You have to have the same.
It is a specific rule. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's what the part I wasn't aware of. Okay. No, then it is very good.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have probably pointed. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're gaining both the Primus Medicae rule. That's why I asked for Primus Medicae, because that's where you get the Centurion armor. You gain both the Primus Medicae rule and also the hatred. Yeah, no, this is great. 65 points, easy. And by the way, I should point out, I'm not sure if this changed with Rights of War. I'm just going to kind of peruse them very quickly. I don't see it here. But I remember that Space Wolves kind of fuck around with the ability to take more than 3 HQs. I don't remember how they do it. Yeah, I can't remember how they do it for the life of me. I know they can take more than 3 HQs.
I mean, if you want to know what's really funny, the Speaker of the Dead could do something that not many can do. They get a bonus attack on a Chain Fist, because they gain a Mastercrafted Power Maul. Normal chaplains can take a power weapon they have and make it Mastercraft. This gentleman gains one.
Yeah. No, I like it.
No, they don't. No. Just be clear. They get an Arthesium. They do not get all the rules for the prize.
Okay.
Because they get an
yes,
thing,
true.
But he does get the Varagyr piece, which is an Arthesium.
Which is all you care about anyway. Let's be honest.
Correct.
Let's be honest. But yeah, no, amazing. Love it. 65 points. I'm not going to say must take, but I'm going to squint my eyes a little bit if you don't take it.
65. You have to have points for it. You might not have put that into your list concept to have points for an extra HQ.
True. I feel like you would want to make points for
but
him.
if that's just not what you're doing, remember, damn, people have to play for fun. Maybe their fun doesn't include this guy.
I don't understand what that is. Is that some sort of non-meta word that, like, non-meta word?
The thing that people whose armies have rules.
That's true. Yeah, we get to have fun.
Oh, see, you know what? I cannot wait. I cannot wait to survive another 6 Demolisher shots.
Demolishers? No one runs Demolishers anymore, my dude.
Get good.
Contemptors.
All right, Caster of Runes. Do you want to be the Psychic Steve or no?
Well, there's.
I take this one on since the Thane was so fast. So the Caster of Runes is a 45-point upgrade. Again, your Centurion, Tartaros Centurion, or Cataphractii Centurion can take it. They become Psychers. Surprise, surprise. You cast the runes, you do psychic powers. You could choose either the Divination, Telekinesis, or Biomancy disciplines. Or you could take their custom one, the Winds of Fenris.
Yep. And they get Adamantian Will.
Actually.
4 up.
Yes,
Yeah,
and they
and
gain
psychic will.
Adamantium Will on a 4-up. So they have a 4-up negation against psychic powers. So you don't even need that Wargear. That other thing. You don't need it. You got it right there.
I think you get a
For,
psychic crit for
for
15.
Wargear, they can replace a power weapon, a bolt pistol, or a combi bolter with a force weapon for no extra points. In addition, you could take a psychic hood for 15 points. So, because someone was
That's me.
asking the other day in one of our chats, the reason it lists the bolt pistol or combi bolter or a power weapon is because the Terminator standard Wargear is a combi bolter and a power weapon. And being able to swap out either of those is, worthwhile. I mean, if you love your bolt pistol, you could replace your chainsword with a power weapon and a power weapon with a force weapon. But I don't think that's I don't think anyone likes their bolt pistols that much.
No, my next librarian I make is gonna have a sword and an axe, and then I'm just gonna decide which one is the force. And his running around in his heavy armor, depending on what I need to happen, whether or not I'm doing biomancy. But
okay. So without getting into this, before we get to this new psychic discipline, just thoughts going in.
It's the same cost in every way as the normal, except he gets adamantium will.
And a new thing he has as an
otherwise he's the same as that cost as a normal librarian. So the big thing is whether or not this discipline is worth it.
Let's see.
So you gain all of the following powers. You gain Wrath of the Death Wolf. This is a psychic weapon. It uses a flamer template for range. It is Strength 5, AP 4, Assault 1, Deflagrate Force. So, Deflagrate, that's the Volkite rule. Every time the enemy fails a save against it, you get another hit with the weapon. And Force means that with a psychic test, you could double the strength if you want. Being a Strength 10 flamer sounds very appealing because that works as an anti-tank weapon. You could even throw a wound onto a dreadnought if you're lucky, but I would not count on it because it saves on a 2. But it will instant death Marine. So if you have a veteran squad that you really don't want to, be up against, you could try torching them with this weapon. I like it, and I feel like it's going to be really good once the other factions come out, because assuming that the Mechanicum stats stay roughly the same as last edition, where Thalax are a 4-up save toughness 5 model.
Agree.
This thing will just shred a unit.
Absolutely.
It can't make saves.
You beat me to that very much so.
And wound spill.
Yeah.
It's extra wounds from Deflagrate. So
you 1,000% beat me that. Thalax, if the rules stay very similar to what they are in the playtest, are going to be a pain in the ass to play against. Mostly because they have the old Tau battlesuit rules where they can jump and shoot. Or shoot and jump. The ability to get and just flame the shit out of them and instant death them. Yeah, no. That's an
quick
A-okay
rules
thing in my
question as I try to flip and see if I can find it first. For Deflagrate, is that in the original roll per wound? So if I'm
per wound,
per failed save.
Okay, so if it's because there's a distinction there. If it's per failed save,
there is because
it's only one
death.
I thought,
but it wouldn't be multiple failed saves. You only failed one save.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. I'm saying that's the difference. The difference is it 3 hits or 1 hit? It'd be 1 hit because
I'm looking it up right now. Deflagrate. There we are. No, it says count the number of unsaved wounds caused on the target unit.
So then if you instant death someone on 2, you get to...
Excuse me?
Yeah. Immediately resolve the number of additional automatic hits equal with the weapons for equal to the number of unsaved wounds. Yeah, no. So if you, let's say you kill 2 Thalax, you roll 6 more dice. Not 2.
That's why I wasn't sure. I haven't had it matter yet because I haven't. None of the other Deflagrate weapons that I've used have been able to instant death something. So it's all been the same for all intents and purposes. But I wasn't sure with that the way they worded it. But okay.
No. Yeah, so if you hit a multi-wound unit and kill them instantly, you roll the amount of unsaved wounds.
What's that? I don't even mind Indeterminators.
Yeah, no, that's
if I get enough hits, I'm on strength 10. You fail one, I'm killing a guy.
Hell, Dave, you were there for that, right? when I killed 3 red butchers when the Land Raider blew up. Yeah, no, it's you toss enough strength 8 or higher into Terminators, and if they roll that 1 or multiple ones, it sucks.
Oh, they feel it. They absolutely feel it.
I killed 3 red butchers inside a Land Raider, and I didn't even touch them. They just died from the explosion, the strength 8 explosion, because he rolled 3 ones. No, it's amazing.
Instant death, because here's another spot where it could get weird. Instant death is worded that you essentially take the full amount. I know it kills you, so don't tell me it kills you. How? Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
Let
Yeah,
me go to
how
instant death, hold
exactly is it worded?
A model suffers an unsaved wound from an attack with a special. Well, it's not
It
instant
would be
death.
if it was strength 10.
It's just no, but instant death is its own
No.
special rule.
No, anything that has a strength double
Oh,
toughness.
it counts as instant death. Okay.
It gains the special rule if strength is double toughness.
Yeah, so if the model suffers an unsaved wound from the
keep
oh,
reading.
I see what you're saying.
I'm not there yet.
No, I know it is reduced to 0 wounds and is removed as a casualty.
Okay, so instant death rule. Yeah, if you take an unsaved wound, it is reduced to 0 wounds. So
I don't think it works that way, only because close combat specifically says they count as the number
that's
of
what I was
wounds
going to
lost
say.
For check.
So I would say no. You still would only get the 1 because instant death just essentially sets your wounds characteristics to 0. It doesn't say you suffer enough wounds to put you to 0. Just go to 0. Go straight to jail. Do not collect $200. You're not passing go here on Monopoly.
Listen, less
it's still
cool
very
than
good.
what we thought.
That's still fine,
but still very good.
Still
I was going to say. It's not the Kabanda. You know what I'm thinking is? And I think maybe we're gonna. It's like the Kabanda template rule. Remember that Kabanda stupid rule?
Stupid.
Where it was like he got but like it got the amount of hits based on like how many wounds he did or some stupid like that.
But that would still work the same way.
This
if
one
you
is
instant
not
death
that.
someone. If you instant death them, depending on how it counts for that purpose of wording, he may or may not get the extras. But we're not going to go back to him right now.
I'm gonna pull up.
He doesn't matter right now. We're on this.
Hold on a second.
It's a Space Wolf
I know.
episode.
When you buy
focus.
Then we can have a nice long discussion about him again.
and I kill. And by the way, you're right. It's the number of unsaved wounds caused by melee attacks. So if he insta kills you,
did we say we didn't care about him? Stormrot. Tell me about the psychic power here, Steve.
Well, I just wanted to check.
Don't let Dan lead you astray.
Okay. So sorry. The last psychic power he has, Stormrot. So he has Wrath of the Deathwolf and Stormrot. Stormrot, instead of making a shooting attack, controlling player, just like a single friendly unit with at least 1 model within 6 inches of the Psyker. And that unit has to be composed entirely of infantry, cavalry, or dreadnoughts. The unit gains Shrouded 5 up, that's big, until the beginning of the controlling player's next shooting phase. Using this power, the psychic, you can take a psychic test to instead give Shrouded 3 up to the unit.
Ooh.
Now, I would like to remind you all that Harbingers the Legion, which would be your jet bikes, they get to re-roll Shrouded saves.
That's gross. I love it.
You want an unkillable land speeder? That's how you get an unkillable land speeder.
Yeah, because that cavalry.
Yeah. Bro, fuck that. Fuck the land speeder. 3-up Shrouded Terminator Squad. Go fuck yourself.
Now, reminder, Shrouded is absolutely useless against ignores cover and close combat. Yeah. However, oh my god, you get to laugh at las cannons all day long.
It's useful against most stuff, because most stuff doesn't ignore your cover.
Oh, yes.
That, all right. The Caster of Runes is worth it because their power is really good.
It's nice, but this is like the one discipline that does not come stock with the what's it called?
Yes.
The Force Lightning one. What do they call this edition? I'm blanking. I'm not.
Force Lightning is fine.
Yeah, they don't get the Force Lightning thing from every generic.
The only problem is that there are only 3 headquarters slots. But I'm like, damn it.
That's what you think, Dan.
Yeah, I know. You can also ally. But yeah, no, I'm laughing because I'm like,
only
God damn it, there's
sort
only
of
3.
downside I
Shit.
noticed with him, and maybe I haven't looked through enough of the other psychers to notice this. His power that you want to use is shooting phase, and his weapon is a shooting weapon as well. I mean, you if someone's, you can react with it, because it is. I don't see why you couldn't. But in terms of your actual shooting phase, some of the other disciplines, like your power, like biomancy, your power is shooting phase. Your weapon is a melee. Some of the other ones are the same. Yeah, so actually, that is the only sort of downside. But some of the other ones have it as well. But it's a really good weapon if someone is wanting to charge you. I just kill him out. He is good though. Take your non-psychers. All right, are we good on
Channeling the world spirits. Don't get confused. They're channeling world spirits. Totally not the same
Exactly,
thing.
but not the warp, guys. Absolutely 1,000%. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Fenris is on the eye of the warp, right? Or it's near the eye of the warp.
Of Terror, you mean?
Oh, God damn it!
Most
Eye of Terror,
I
sorry,
thought
yeah.
most death worlds were.
No. Some
Okay,
death worlds
that makes
are
sense,
not
but
even close to.
I mean, isn't part of the thing to have giant
Yeah.
horrible monsters as well? If you do, it makes sense you probably have them there.
No, because some of them are funny enough Tyranid constructs in death worlds, remnants of Tyranid. There we are. And that's just the solar system. God damn it! Sorry, I'm trying to find a map of the fucking segmentum solar.
Hey, on Dan does astrocartography.
A good astropath.
Oh,
but yeah, no, that wraps up the
Yes.
the upgrades. Those are all. I mean, the Thane's very, very, very basic, but the others are all.
Yeah.
They're brutal.
No, I like them. I ain't even mad. Yeah.
All right, we're on to Wolf King.
Right, so I think Dave's next in the lineup.
By the way, Fenris is very close to the Eye of Terror. In fact, fun fact. Oh Jesus!
You should be skipping the Wolf King because they're
okay.
part
So
of
they
the
only
timeline.
go with him.
In Warhammer 40,000.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. In Warhammer 40,000, you know how the galaxy split in two? Fenris is literally in between that split. It crossed right through Fenris. That sucks.
All right.
Anyway.
Hey, we got the skip a thing then. That's cool. There it is. So we are on the Varagyr. Is that how it's said?
Deathsworn.
Varagyr. Probably Varagyr. Or Varagyr.
You missed the Deathsworn pack.
Yeah, it's Varagyr.
Oh, is Deathsworn actually the one that's next?
Wait, what?
All right.
Oh,
Fine.
Deathsworn.
Well,
Yep.
we're going to do it in the order that I have it already written out. No, that's fine. We can switch it. Why those stupid things reverse? Okay. So I'm going to have to switch it in my notes. That's fine. So someone else talk about Deathsworn while I swap my notes.
I'll do Deathsworn. All right. Deathsworn Pack. 175 points. You're looking at a pretty normal stat line, like a normal vet stat line, I should say. Weapon skill 4, but the skill 4, strength and toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 4, leadership 8, 2 attacks. They do have artificier armor, so you're looking at 2 up slave. So
you said slave.
They got a
yes, you did.
Save. I did? No, 2 up save. Bolt pistol and power axe. Not bad, actually. Frag grenade. Oh, that means power axe. They can.
Yep.
Oh, no. That's only independent characters. Damn it. Frag grenades, crack grenades, the Ymira class stasis bombs. They have the Cult of Mordecai, Dreams of the Death Wolf. They have counterattack 1, which is really nice. And this is not counterattack 2 like we've seen, where it's like, I don't want to charge because I get more attacks. They're also stubborn. They can take a Land Raider or a Rhino as a dedicated transport. You can take an additional 5 for 30 points a pop. So the discount, I think, is 5 points. Did I do that right? 30 times 5 is 150. Yeah. Oh, 25 points. Jesus. Oof. A model in this unit makes its power axe for a power fist for 15. Oh, here we are. Okay, take it. Every 5 models in the unit, you can exchange a power axe for a Great Frostblade or a Thunderhammer.
Yeah, right there.
Damn, I know, I kind of want that Thunderhammer now. And the entire unit may take one of the following options. Either Melt-A-Bombs for 20 or Rad Grenades for 20. I should point out, by the way, I don't think we've mentioned this before with the other specialized units. Whenever it says the entire unit may take one of the following, it is nicely discounted when you make the unit bigger. So, for example, in 1.0, it used to be you pay for melt-a-bombs for each person in the unit. So it was 5 points per dude. So let's say you had 10 people, that's 50 points. If you had 5 points, that was 25 points. Now it's melt-a-bombs are 20, right? Meaning
Yes.
that's actually cheaper than what it would have been. But now that's it. You just pay 20. So if you have 10 dudes, it's 20. If you have 8 dudes, it's 20. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a nice little discount if you go higher than 10, which is nice. It is nice. All right, so let's talk about the Cult of Mordecai. They may not be Deathsworn packs may not be joined by independent character special rule other than models with Speaker of the Dead or Caster of the Rune console upgrades. There's a reason why Speaker of the Dead is it's going to be really good in this squad. I'll talk about that in a second. In addition, a Deathsworn pack may be selected as a retinue squad for at least one model with the Speaker of the Dead or Caster of the Rune console upgrade instead of an elite choice, and then it has all the retinue squad nonsense. Yeah. Dreams of the Death Wolf. God, sounds like okay. This is the name of my band. If a Deathsworn model loses its last wound during the assault phase before having made any attacks, place that model to one side instead of removing it from play as casualty. In Initiative Step 1, all models placed to the side in this fashion may make a single attack before being removed as a casualty. Models removed as casualties in this fashion are still counted for resolving which side is won in combat. And then you have the Ymera Stasis Bombs. Any unit which successfully charges a unit that includes one or more models with this bomb must make a disordered charge. In addition, the controlling player of the unit may include any models with the Ymera class Stasis bombs, may choose to activate them when declaring a charge for the unit, before any dice are rolled to determine charge distance. The Ymera, I'm just going to call it the Stasis Bomb. The Stasis Bomb remains activated until the start of the controlling player's next turn, and may be activated again if another charge is later declared for that unit. While it's activated, all models with the Stasis Bomb must add both the Fleshbane and Gets Hot special rule to all attacks made during the fight subphase. All wounds inflicted by the Gets Hot special rule on a model with an activated Ymera class State Bomb are resolved at the AP value of the weapon the model with the Stasis Bomb is using the attack. Okay, a lot of rules. So you basically you have 175 points of a. Well, I mean, I hate to kind of use the word. It's a death pack. These guys go up. Yeah, they go up. They look at a squad and they evaporate the squad. And the good news is, if you lose people before they evaporate that squad, they still get at least their one attack back. What's really, really cool is that because they can take a Speaker of the Dead, although now that I realize that Shroud 3+ is so goddamn nice, Jesus Christ. Put him with a Runecaster for a 3+ Shroud when they're trying to charge in Overwatch. But no, you put him with the Speaker of the Dead. Now they have a Feel No Pain, they have Hatred, they're stubborn. What is it? 1 in every 5 can take a Thunderhammer, which I agree. See, would you take a Great Frostblade or a Thunderhammer? Wait a minute. You know what I would do, Dave? I got you. Watch this. Screw the Thunderhammer. Take the Frostblade and then take Rad Grenades.
Oh, yeah, because you're going to set most things to 3 and you're strength 6. Yep.
And you're strength 6. Yeah, I believe the Great Frostblade, correct me if wrong, it's +2 strength. Oh, yeah. Do a little combo. Yeah.
The Frostblade is 10 points. The Thunderhammer is 20.
Yes, it is. If you take more. Yes.
If you have a pack of 10. If you were bringing 10, you could get 2.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
That's just savings right there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. No, but bro, that's actually only what? Hold on. That's only 365 if I did the math correctly. And then fuck it. No, yeah, take a Power Fist, whatever. For 15. Who cares? That's 380? That's not bad. Because I remember we were doing like maximum point squads for some of these.
You wanted to do maximum.
Right? Some of them were like 400,
don't
500
make it like
points.
It was us.
Well, no, but I'm just thinking this one is actually a saving, though. This one is saving because of the Rad Grenade option. But you know what's funny? So I don't know if Steve might be able to answer this, or maybe you. Melt the Bomb counts as a melee weapon. If they die to a Contemptor, can they still melt the bomb?
They get to do an attack. There's nothing that stipulates in there the way the attack has to be.
Shit. Yeah, oh man. I like this unit a lot. I do. Yeah, no, I like this unit. I can see them, you can gear it for anti-infantry with 2 Great Frostblades and Rad Grenades and just charge them in. Because that'll insta-kill Terminators too, by the way. I don't think we've. Steve, are there any toughness 5 Terminators? Specialized? I don't think there
So
are.
some units get battle hardened 1, which raises their
Oh, okay.
their
But by
toughness by
I-
1 for
It's
instant death
rare
rolls.
though.
But I don't think
And
that's
it's pretty rare.
common enough to.
It
Yeah, I was
is
going to say.
rare.
So, yeah, you throw this against most specialized Terminators. You're coming out on top on this one. This is really good.
And honestly,
I like
you don't
it.
even necessarily throw it against them. With counterattack 1, you don't necessarily care if you charged. They're not going to want to charge you. Because you're essentially just as good. So,
Oh my god, them with a
Yeah.
3-up shrouded though. Jesus Christ. 2 up into 3-up. Go home.
yeah, they're a very good unit. They're expensive for
Yeah.
Space Marine bodies, but they are very, very good, especially if you're willing to throw the extra in.
They're not. Mostly they're not, because again, I know you haven't, but I've been doing the maximum point shit
Yeah,
because
but
I like running big boy squads. Every big boy squad we've come across, like the Phoenix Terminators, has been 400,
Yeah,
500 points. Or at least upwards of 400 to 500. This is 380. And that's upgraded. And you can put them in a Rhino if you really don't care about them. Put them in a Rhino.
No, I do understand. I understand why you do that, and don't get me wrong, they are very good.
like-
But be aware.
Yeah.
Yes, they are very expensive. When you compare them to other stuff, they are expensive. There might be other super special units that are more expensive, but that does not make these guys cheap. You know, if you want to run that big squad, this is a lot of your point.
I'm not saying they're cheap. I'm saying I'm saying that they're cheap in comparison to other
Yes,
like specialized units.
I think that's
should
fair.
say. Yeah, not cheap to like tactical
that's
Marines
fair.
is what I'm saying.
I'll give you that. That's fair.
Yeah, they do look cool too. I will say that as well. They do look pretty damn cool. I don't like the specialized Terminators. I think Steve's going to talk about them next. Not too keen on the specialized Terminators that they have, but it's not Speaker of the Dead. The Deathsworn do look pretty damn neat. And the black armor, the wolf skulls. I love the helmets.
Yeah, I haven't looked
Axes
these
look
guys.
cool too.
I'll
Shit.
look them up before we talk about other stuff. So
Yeah, no, they look. They basically have
Of course they
wolf. They have wolf helmets. They're in Mark II, I want to say. I can't. Let me see that book backpack. Says
that
Steve's
looks like
yelling
Mark
at me
III.
probably in the background. They're Mark II. No, they're Mark II.
Yeah, backpacks.
Oh, Mark
Backpacks
III.
to me look
So
like
Mark III.
The
with
bot.
skull-
Yeah,
Okay, Mark III with the skull helmets. No, they look cool. I like them.
they're neat. I'm not entirely sold on them, but I'm not entirely sold on the wolf aesthetic. But overall,
I like the attack. I like the attack when they die. That's pretty cool. That's pretty. Also, you know what's funny? We were talking about them all this time. I don't think we mentioned the fact that their bomb lets them get extra stuff too, which is hilarious. That their bomb, if they choose to activate it, they get gets hot, but also Fleshbane. But I mean, if you have, I don't know why'd you ever use it.
Here's the other part to keep in mind. The gets hot is result at the AP of the weapon that you're using to attack. So if it's your guy with your frost blade, then he's causing AP2 wounds to himself on any of those ones.
But they're all armed with armed with power axes.
Okay, so
everything they have is AP2.
Any Fleshbane, no save. You're just taking it.
I guess. Oh, you know what? But Fleshbane works on contempt. Oh, if a contempt. You charge a contempt.
Roll it if you do that though.
Oh, but does Fleshbane still do? Is it 3-up or 2-up? It's 3-up, right?
Fleshbane's a 2-up. It's always been 2-up.
Oh, it's 2-up. Okay, but reroll 2-up, rerolling your successes. It's still not bad, and it's AP2. I mean, like I said, it's a mutually assured destruction squad. I'm taking down that contemptor, but no, they're cool. They're cool. Although if you take a Speaker of the Dead with them, now they have a 5-up feel no pain.
That is true. Wait.
Right? Am
Speaker of 5-up.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah. Because it's the AP, not the strength.
You've looked at too much stuff.
It's the 5-up. It's the Narthecium. He just has a Narthecium.
Okay. Because you feel no pain.
Yeah. It's the apothecary. Yeah, so that's, I mean, charge them into a contemptor and you kill the Contemptor and you
Well,
might have 3 or 4
potentially,
surviving.
although you're
That's
not going to get
really
any of
bad.
those versus when the Contemptor hits you. Because he's hitting you at strength 9.
No, true.
They
But I
don't.
think you strike before the Contemptor. Oh, no, you're in initiative
No,
4.
it's initiative 4.
Yeah, it's all initiative 4.
And
But
axes are initiative 1.
that's true, and you can't place the axes. But still, but remember, they still get to attack the Contemptor before. I don't know.
If
I
you
like
have a
it.
unit
They're
that's
cool.
worth that many points, they should kill a Contemptor. You're just going to lose a lot of them in the process. You know, depending on charge, you're going to potentially lose 3 to 4 of them.
They're
They're
neat. That's what I'm going to say. They're neat.
All right.
Who's taking the?
Yeah, they're very good. Do you want
Varagyr.
those, Steve? All right. You don't have to. You're allowed to say no.
Take them. Yeah, they're just not that interesting. It's a Terminator squad. It's got 5 guys. It's a weapon skill 5 squad. They come in cataphracti armor. They have frost versions of power weapons, so frost axe, frost sword, or frost claw. They got a combi bolter. They cause fear. They get counter attack. They get hammer for F2, and Lord's Bane is on top of the normal stuff. Lord's Bane, it's anyone can issue challenges, and if you're in a challenge, if you kill them, you get an extra wound towards combat resolution. It's nice. This is all nice. Fear is really nice. But their options, I guess, is what's more interesting. So
the thing can take a great Frostblade.
Power Fists, Chain Fists, Thunder Hammers, they're all options for the Frostblades. You can take up to 5 extra guys. One of them can have a Vexilla. You could have combi weapons, a second Frostblade. That sounds kind of fun. You have a Heavy Flamer or a Reaper autocannon. Now, any model can take these options, and this is what makes the squad interesting. Because you have a 5-man squad of Heavy Flamers, or Reaper autocannons, if you wanted to, at a casual 60 points per
at that
model.
point.
And the unit leader can take a Great Frostblade instead of the regular Frostblade. And they can also have a Grenade Harness. I think this is a really funny fire-based unit, because if they go all Reaper autocannon, that's a lot of dice they're throwing downfield at range with Rending and Twin Linked, so they're going to get the hits. They're going to put some hurt out. And then if you charge them, they have counterattack.
And Overwatch.
It's nice. It's a nice unit.
I'm going to remind you that you also talk about Heavy Flamers in the ability to run and snap shoot, right?
Yep, they're not running.
Cataphracti are heavy.
Oh, okay,
No,
Cataphracti. Oh, I thought they were Tartaros. Never mind. Oh, I was so
that
happy.
means they're weapon skill 6 on the charge.
Yes. Yeah, since they weren't allowed to run.
No,
remember the Legion trait.
What did you say? I didn't hear what you said.
That essentially, if you're not the right type of unit and you can't run, you get +1 weapon skill.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I believe that's the way it was worded. Taking a look. Yeah, if you cannot run
they're good.
or you don't have the right type, you get +1.
Again.
So plus weapon skill 6 on the charge with Hammer Wrath is nice. You're gonna get a lot done. Yeah, 2. That's actually
2 Hammer Wraths each, even.
True,
Jesus. And if you give the guy a Frostblade, he gets an additional +1 to combat res. I mean, you're most likely wiping whatever you're charging, but it's still nice.
They already have a frost weapon. If you're talking about the heavier weapon, yeah.
The Thane. Either the Thane, if the Thane accepts a challenge.
All right. Yeah, I mean, they're good. Nothing too crazy wise to say about them, which is fine because there's a lot of units here.
It's not
all heavy weapons is fun.
All heavy weapons on the base squad like that would be 325. So they'd be
they're very Space Wolf, but it's funny.
All right. So we're on to Gray Stalker pack. So they got Gray Stalkers, Gray Slayers. Slayers are next.
Slayers are next in the book.
Okay, well, so I'll go to Slayers then.
Yeah.
I wrote down off of what I had in front of me, and what I had in front of me was apparently incorrect, but that's all right. Slayer and Stalker is really easy to change.
Ooh.
Normally I do it from the book. I'm doing it from something else. So Stalker. Okay, so when we look at the Slayers, what's these next two units will be overall, I think, pretty quick because Space Wolves, they do the same thing in 40k where they take your standard squad you should have, say your standard tack squad, they give them a different name and they change up a little bit about them. So when we look at the Slayers, it's 145 points for 10 of them. They are standard profile for a tack squad type of thing. They have bolt pistols and they have Fenrisian axes. So this is, I always forget which one's which. Which is this? Not that.
Fenrisian is the strength
the unit
user
itself. They are despoilers. Is that what it is? Which one is it?
They
okay, so it's the spoilers. Yeah, it's the spoilers with Fenrisian axes, essentially, to some extent. But these guys will have combat shields. Yeah. Okay, so they got that. They got a nice little bit extra there, and that's usually what they do. They always give the people a little bit extra. They are skirmish and line, which is very good. They are relentless. They have counterattack 1, and they have Heart of the Legion. So they get a 6-up, feel no pain when they are close to objectives. They're 12 points a guy. They can take bolters if they want to get rid of their shields. They have options of bayonets, chain bayonets. So essentially, after that, they have some of the options, sort of a mixture between veterans and regular, because for every 5 models in the unit, one of them can switch out the axe for different types of melee weapons. For every 5 models in the unit, someone can take out their bolt pistol for a hand flame or a plasma pistol. They get their normal Nuncio Vox, Legion Vexilla. The leader of the House Carl can take Power Fist, Lightning Claws, Thunderhammers, Frost Weapons. He himself can take a couple, either hand flame or plasma pistols and all. It's sort of a mixture of the two. So it's almost a despoiler with a shield, but you can get rid of the shield and go to bolters if you want. Space Wolves love to be sort of special in this way that, we don't take that normal unit. We take that normal unit with a little bit of a change. What's the net base cost for the unit?
And they get counterattack and relentless, which is actually
don't get me wrong,
nice
they get
well.
some good stuff, but it's that unit with some plus. Yeah. It's that unit with little extra. Which
no, I agree. No, it's good.
Now I had to pick up the book because what's the base points normally on that unit? Okay, on not on their unit, on the unit that they're exactly like. To some extent.
Oh, well, here's the funny part. Gray Stalkers, I feel like are your despoilers.
So these guys
because they have bolt pistols and chain swords.
What's the name?
They're halfway between that and a veteran.
Yeah, these are like despoiler veterans. Is that the best way to put that?
Without the
combat shield does what?
Yeah.
6 up. Okay, so they're
6 up invul.
Yep.
Yeah, they got a little bit of that. They got a little bit of light breacher look to them. They're sort of a nice little weird combination. Okay.
I like the way you said it before. They're despoiler, but kind of like veterans.
When you look at their options,
kind of a nice way to put
they have options closer to a vet than a standard like despoiler style squad would have.
So, exactly. Okay. Yeah.
So now we have stalkers. Yeah,
well, I'm not going to spend too much time on them because they're gray slayers, but with different war gear. They're the same exact stats as gray slayers, 145 points, skirmish and line, counterattack 1, Heart of the Legion, and they're armed with bolt pistols and chain swords. And they kind of have the same exact options. Now I should point out that the difference in the options is that these guys, 1 in every 5 models, can now take a specialized weapon. So whereas the Gray Slayer pack was more kind of specialized towards close combat, this is more like a veteran squad to me.
Yeah.
Because they have, for every 5 models, they can take a flamer, charger, rotor cannon, plasma gun, melt-a-gun. They have relentless, by the way, so this is really good because they could take something like a rotor cannon and still move and shoot with them. And like they can take a Legend of Vexilla, Nuncio Vox, the Huskarl can take a Power Fist, Frostblade, so on and so forth. So this is more of, so if I had to split them, I think the Gray Stalkers are more of your 1 wound veterans, and the Gray Slayers are your despoilers with upgrades.
Yeah, they're closer to the spoilers, where these guys are closer to 1 wound veterans with a little bit of rules changes, but they don't come base with, they come base for close combat instead of bolters, because they got bolt, pistol, chainsword. So they're a little bit more designed for that. Although everyone can take a bolter for a point, and you're relentless, so not too bad if you actually want to be able to do those kinds of shots. Or combat shields for a point.
They're not bad. Like I said, they're troops, they're line. If you're Space Wolves, you take these instead, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that to me is the exact purpose. You're supposed to replace your baseline with your special units in this army. That's why you pick them.
It works well with the Legion trait. It works well with the Legion trait. It works well with pretty much everything else.
If you're taking these guys, you want... This is part of the reason why you're doing it.
Yeah.
All right. So that takes us out of the main book for a moment. So we have 2 different spots for other units to take a look at. The one will be super, super fast. They did not have any exemplary battles units from the original document put out, but from the... What's the other main document? The Legacies. Yeah, the Legacies one. On page 59 in that, they have exactly 1 unit. They have the Fenrisian Wolf Pack. These guys will be fast. I'll talk about real fast, and then either of you guys can talk about the more fun things. 10 points. 10 points. It's 1. You can take up to 4 more for 5 points each. Move 7. They got weapon skill 3. They don't shoot. It's a wolf. Strength 3, toughness 3, initiative 3. It's got 1 attack, leadership 5, and 6 up save. They have claws. There's their rule. They have pack retinue. They can only be chosen in retinue for a model with both Space Wolves and Master of the Legion. He's the Wolf Pack leader for all intents and purposes. No force orc slot. It works like a retinue, so he can take a retinue of wolves, and their weapon is a melee shredding strength 3 weapon. Do you want your leader? Is your leader badass? But he needs ablative wounds for cheap, super cheap. Here you go. It's not good because
it's ablative wounds.
No,
it's not even good ablative wounds.
Many ablative wounds.
It dies.
It dies to bolters.
It also means you are majority.
Like listen,
your majority. If
they were 2 or 3 wounds,
6 up saves.
Yeah. If they were toughness 4
for their points,
and like 2 wounds each,
and it would be worth it.
Okay, then fine.
But it's but it's funny. But if you got a bunch of wolves, if you play 40k, this is an army where a lot of your stuff could carry over because you have so many specialized units. You got a bunch of wolves, fucking throw some wolves at it. Throw wolves at your problem. It worked for them so far. All right, that was fast because there's not much to say about a bunch of wolves. Or just if someone has something to say. Speak now.
I would love to see the timestamp on
this. Congratulations, you have rules.
Honestly, the wolf models are pretty cool. So if you got them and you're going to play for fun, that's great. Go ahead. Don't, but go ahead. Who wants to take the hunting pack? So the other spot, I'll mention very briefly where this came from. Yeah, he'll take it.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
So you'll take it?
So they have put out
take it.
essentially other battles and other things since. Some people didn't have exemplary units there. The Space Wolves got theirs here, which is actually... Isn't the whole point of this like you're on Horus' ship? Isn't that what it's supposed to be?
No, this is when Russ
but you're on the Vengeful Spirit.
Kill Horus, but he kind of decides like,
Yeah, I just scrolled through. Yeah, you're supposed
again,
to be fighting on the Vengeful Spirit.
Illiterate, so okay, but not like the battle at the end of the Heresy, but like the earlier battle leading up to Terra. Okay, so this is Wolfsbane, right? That book, if I remember correctly,
don't
that's what they called
know. I'm super behind on a lot of the books, but
No.
Okay, good. So I'm not the only illiterate person in the room. All right. So yes, their unit is really cool. It's called the Jorlund Hunter Pack. It's 125 points for 5 guys to get hand flamers and chain swords. They have a bog standard marine stat line, aside from the fact that that they're space wolves. They get Crusader, which is something that I actually have not come across.
Do you know what it does? I don't know.
Edition.
Oh,
okay.
Luckily, my rulebook is already open to that page. A unit that contains at least one model of this rule rolls an extra die when making sweeping advances,
That's awesome.
and discards the lowest scoring die. Yeah. So if they hit at the same time as something else, they will absolutely help sweep things. Because the way sweeping advances work in this edition, every unit that fails a morale check and runs rolls a die to get away. And if everyone in the combat is falling back and running or dead, then each unit on your side that was in the combat rolls a die. And as long as any of your dice are higher than a unit's roll to get away, then you get to basically eat that unit. So if they roll like a 6 and then like 2 2s and you beat the 2s, the 2 units that rolled a 2 would get killed while the 6 gets away. But if you also roll a 6 and you catch them, then you just devour all their squads with one of yours.
Yeah.
So Crusader's really nice. It helps save you from that time that your opponent rolls a 2, like, oh no, it's like, haha, I'll check this out. And then you roll a 1, and you're like, oh, you did get away. So yeah, they have that, which is really nice. They have Scout, which gives them the pregame move, and I believe it still confers Outflank as a bonus.
I'm pretty confident about that, but I can look it up to be sure, unless Dan has it open. Okay, very good.
You also get Outflank. Just checked. And they're a support squad. Yeah, they're a support squad, so they cannot be a compulsory choice, but they are troops. They're not in line, but they are troops. What I really like about them is they have this rule called Scouring Tempest. So what that does is once per battle, during the shooting phase, while you're an active player specifically, you can give the unit Torrent 3 inches and pinning. The reason I like the Torrent 3 inches a lot is it alleviates the biggest downside to having a lot of flamers in one unit, and that's you're going to end up blocking your own models unless you're standing in a conga line. But if you're standing in a conga line, each model is not getting the chance to optimize its shots. When you have Torrent 3 inches, all of a sudden you can rotate the flame template. It doesn't have to go straight out from your base. And that makes such a huge difference. So all of a sudden you're just piling on these wounds. And yeah, they're strength 3, but there's going to be a lot of them. So chances are you're going to get a wound through, and they're probably going to fail a save, and they're going to take a pitting check. And that's just nice to be able to do.
Yeah, no, these guys are good. I mean, I think the battle that they did for this, it's supposed to be in a ship, so they talk about some of the design, but it makes sense. Yeah, you'd be bringing flamers. You're in a closed-in space.
Oh, this would be amazing. And this is amazing in Zone Mortalis because all flame weapons get a +1 in Zone Mortalis. Well, not flame, but template weapons. So it's just really good. 1 in 5, you can take up to 10 extra guys, so it's a 15-man max squad, because for a reason they love 15-man maxes. And
such a weird, I was so mad with that.
For an extra 15 points in a guy. So it's actually, you're paying a 50-point premium at the beginning, but past that it gets cheaper. 1 in 5 could replace the hand flamer with the flamer for 5 points. I mean, you might as well, because it's more strength. A Volkite Serpenta, 1 in 5, I don't really see it paying off. Volkite is best when it's massed. A single Volkite, you're never going to notice the effect of. One can take a Legion Vexilla. Yes, you're going to do that. The Hunt Master can take Melted Bombs for 5 points, and these might be the cheapest Melted Bombs in the game. So I would do that. And you could also take Artificer Armor.
If you want him to
you
die.
You could select a hand flame for a Plasma Pistol, but I don't like solo Plasma Pistols. Not at 10 points each, so you don't do that. And you can replace the Chainsword with the Frost Blade, which you're probably going to end up doing. The other thing that's cool is that these guys get to run and shoot because they're Space Wolves, which means that if you have a unit that doesn't have a ton of models in it to spam flame attacks on. You go, okay, well then I'm just gonna run my 1 inch total, just really fast, to spin in a circle, chasing my tail, and then whoosh, out comes the flame, and get D3 attacks a guy that are still auto hitting. If on those turns you aren't getting the torrent, that's gonna work. I don't think it's a great pick for 125 points, but I definitely think it's a unit that's worth at least proxying once and seeing how you like it. Their transport options are actually not bad. If they have no more than 10 models, they could take a Rhino, or they could take a Termite or a Land Raider Proteus carrier. I played a game with Termites the other day, and they are probably one of the most fun units to have in the game. Subterranean Assault's a really fun process. So having an additional troops unit that could take advantage of that is just really, really cool.
Yeah, no, these guys are very neat.
I like them.
They're a very cool, fluffy choice. They have a job. They do it pretty well. Yeah, they're maybe a little bit expensive for the sort of thing that they do, but it's okay in these games. We tend to play a little bit higher points anyway. I don't think I would max it to a squad of 15 of these guys. I think that's a little bit much, but like a small squad, maybe up to 10 or the 5 or a couple extra guys. No, I think it can do good. It can get some stuff done, and they're annoying. You don't want to let these guys be getting tons and tons of hits on you. Because if it's against the normal Marine, they will start laying down wounds. Yeah, they need 5s, but they'll get enough of them through, and you'll start losing guys. Because if I can lay the template on your squad of 10, unless you position well, I can probably almost get 10 per dude. Especially with the torrent.
Yeah. I just wish that because they're analogous to Despoilers, like this is another alternate Despoiler because they have a chainsword and a pistol. I wish that they had Spite of the Legion, if only so that the rule is on more than a single unit. Spite of the Legion, for those who don't recall, because it's such a weird rule, is that when you charge a unit that is pinned, falling back, or has no characters or chosen warriors in it, you get an extra attack on the charge, which I think would bump them up nicely to the next tier of usefulness.
Yeah.
But no, I like this unit. I like it a lot. If I was a Space Wolf player, I would absolutely
try it out, see what you would think of it if you enjoy it. Make some of these guys. All right, that it gets us through the units. It gets us now just to their 2 HQs. Does anyone have a strong feeling for either of these 2 gentlemen?
Oh yes, I'm doing Hvarl.
Oh yeah, that was.
I'm doing Hvarl. I'm doing Fat Bastard.
All right, maybe I'll grab the other guy here.
Yep, the only one I care about.
Geigor. Yep. So Geigor Fell-Hand.
Like
he's 135 points. Move 7, weapon skill, ballistic skill 5, 3 wounds, initiative 5, 3 attacks, 2 up save, leadership 9. So sort of standard Centurion style stat line. He's got a bolt pistol, a bolter. He's got the fell hand. He's got his grenades. His artificer armor is a refractor field. So he absolutely fits that sort of feel. He is skirmish, actually. First type, unique, makes sense. But he is skirmish. He's relentless, which is fine. He has counterattack 1, which is always good for them. He's a master of the Legion. So fitting. Oh, yeah. Sorry, no, because he's a normal armor. So he's actually fitting more like a Praetor. My apologies, because he's not in Terminator armor. So yeah, he's actually closer to Praetor, actually between the two. Because he doesn't have quite the weapon skill. But he does have Master of the Legion. Yeah.
No,
so he's a little bit of a mix, but he got the extra wound. He's closer to them in wounds and all. And he has his Warlord trait is Crownbreaker. If he's your Warlord, he has to have this one. And this was the one we read before where you get preferred enemy of independent characters and 5 up, feel no pain when you're locked in combat with the unit with that. And his weapon is the Fell Hand, strength +1, so he's swinging at strength 5. It's AP3, it's melee, it's mastercrafted, rends on a 5, shred, and has reaping glow 1. So shred on that when you rend on a 5 is actually pretty good. And the +1 strength, this is a character where you probably wouldn't want the weapon to be tons and tons of strength higher because since it's AP3, you are hoping to actually get the rerolls on the shred to get the 5 ups. but it's enough where, like I said, since it's rending, remember, rending does auto wound, breaching doesn't, but rending does. So even if you are going against something much heavier, you at least have a shot at, on 5-ups rerollable, to get AP 2 hits on them. I'm not. How much is a base Praetor? I gotta flip to this boy and take a look. I'm very meh for the moment.
I was gonna say from just kind of
135. He's the same as that cost.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, I was
Base Praetor's weapon steel 6 with 4 wounds.
Yeah, but he's got a specialized weapon.
So, and leadership 10. So he's kind of between the two, because the Centurion is 1 less wound than he is, but same number of attacks and all. So actually okay. So he's not as good Praetorian, or he's a better Centurion that also is Master of the Legion, but he pays for it because he's 135 points. It's the same cost as a Praetor. Is that? Are either of you guys more positive on him? Because I'm not positive on this guy. Yeah.
No, it's very meh.
He's in plastic?
He's in plastic.
He's initiative 5?
Oh, yeah.
He's in plastic. This is the guy that came out in the Burning of Prospero box
Oh,
set.
that's right. Oh, I forgot about this asshole.
Actually, you know what?
That's the exciting yay thing
stuff I've
for
worked
me.
with.
He
It's
is
actually
in
pretty
plastic.
exciting.
Right.
That actually is legitimately good.
You know what? Yeah. But listen, let's be honest. You can just
I actually love
buy
working
the
with
model
President
and
Gobi because I'm weird.
He's meh. He's meh.
He's
cool, but
the part to me that gets
he's
it
no
is
Hvarl
when
the
I think of like
Red-Blade.
a
I'll tell you
use
that
for a
much.
guy. You know, I can take that Warlord trait on a Praetor if I want. And I don't see what else he has that is so above and beyond what a Praetor would have that I wouldn't want that guy. The only big thing, sorry, Legion Praetor is 120, so he's 15 points more. Sorry, I was looking at the Cataphracti one. I have no 30.
How much is the addition of a Paragon Blade on the Praetor out of stupid curiosity? So
not quite Paragon Blade,
Praetor
but
with
the rending on the 5 is
somewhat
good. Yeah, my apologies. I was looking at the wrong one, but so he's 15 points more
and shred
the base Praetor with worse stats, but a better weapon, because the base Praetor only has a chainsword. So his base weapon, but a worse refractors are 5-up invul, right? So yeah, he's a weird combination, and I kind of
5-up.
like.
It's not even a 4-up.
Yeah,
I don't like him either.
The problem is
Sorry.
he's not.
This is a no. This is a pass for me.
He's not cheap
this is
enough
a pass for
me to look at him instead of a Centurion and say, "Oh, I get Master of the Legion for like a small points upgrade," and like, okay, the rest of them is not too bad. It's a reasonably big upgrade in terms of points, but he's a downgrade from a Praetor for only for a little bit extra, and I don't think his weapon is that insane. Otherwise, it's good, but my Praetor could probably get better stats and better weapons for like maybe 10 more than this guy, a little bit more. He doesn't have that cool draw. He doesn't have the, oh man, but he's got this ability, and that ability makes him cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Listen, we haven't had these for a while. I don't think we haven't on our podcast have had wow, this is not a great person in a while. Last time I remember this was with Titanicus, with that stupid Legion that we all
the one that ended the entire
we ended the podcast on the shittiest Legion. So yeah, I feel like we haven't had one of these in a while. We're just like,
when you look
I don't understand this guy.
Talk about in a second, he's got other abilities, so it's like, okay, he's got something cool, and maybe it doesn't make him good, but at least makes him interesting. He's got something like, I could see why you take him. This guy, I kind of just don't see it per se, unless you love the model. If you love the model, cool, take him.
I agree.
He's a fine-looking model.
I agree. Honestly, if you love the model, just use the model as a Praetor.
And
just build a Praetor.
Has a name, and his name is Geigor. So no, sir, you may not do that.
All right. Let's go to the best boy. Let's go to
like, do I
the
gotta go
literal
look this
fat
guy's
bastard
picture up? Is he
of
actually a
30K.
huge man?
So for those of you who kept
No, of course not.
have you never
No,
seen
talk
him?
about him.
Oh my
I'm gonna
god,
look.
hold
I'm
on,
gonna see
guys.
how
We're gonna
fat this
wait
guy
30
is. He
seconds
better
for
be as
Dave
fat
to
as you
hold
talk
on.
about.
So for those who don't know why I'm calling him Fat Bastard, the model
If you
looks
don't
like
know
Fat
why I'm
Bastard from
calling him
Austin
that,
Powers.
it's because of that exact reason. No, he doesn't. I pulled up this guy. Let me look at this guy.
Yeah,
Zoom on.
the exact
No, he
fucking
doesn't.
reason.
He's in armor. No.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, so his face, yes,
he
but literally
absolutely
nothing
does.
else on
Pull up
him.
Fat Bastard right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
no, it's literally his face, and he's got like
he
a
has
chubby,
almost
he's got like the chubby
contemptor-looking
chest. It's
armor
like
in
a
the middle of his
weird
body.
version. It almost looks like contemptor.
No, he has a contemptor.
Yeah,
style
right. Okay, good. I
body
always thought that was me.
in the armor, but not in his size. He's still a normal sized dude. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
he looks like
So let's talk about him and
he
why.
looks like an Irish or Scottish stereotype.
Let me talk about why this dude is awesome, because he actually is awesome. So he is essentially a praetor, but better. He's 210 points, which is a hefty sum. A movement 7, weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4, 4 wounds. So he's thick. Initiative 5, 4 attacks, leadership
Praetor
10, 2 up save. He is armed with Tartar. What happened? Yeah, Praetor stat line. Tartaros Terminator armor with an iron halo, though. So he's got the movement bonus of the Tartaros, but the 4 up save of Cataphracti. He's got a grenade harness. That's good. You don't have to purchase one. Yes, he is armed with a heavy bolter. That is not a misprint. He is one-handing. If you look up his model, the dude is literally one-handing an actual heavy bolter. Which is awesome. And he's got a special weapon called the Hearth Splitter. He's an independent character. He's got battle cunning, which I have no idea. Oh, it's a special rule. I was trying to look for it, and then I realized, he's Master of a Legion, Relentless, Inexorable, Counterattack 1, Fear. I gotta look what Inexorable is. That's the one that one I don't know. Counterattack 1, Fear 1,
So,
and the Warlord trait is Head Taker. So Inexorable, for those who... I was scrolling down, but if you got it before,
it's stubborn if everyone in the unit has Inexorable.
Have we
people in
talked about someone who has
Cataphracti
Inexorable
armor
yet or no?
Yeah, Terminators tend to have it. People in Cataphracti, other types of Terminator, yeah.
Oh, okay. So his Warlord trait, Head Taker, Hvarl Red-Blade, and all models and friendly unit he gains the preferred enemy infantry special rule. Mwah, beautiful. In addition, an army with Hvarl Red-Blade as its Warlord may take an additional reaction in the assault phase as long as he has not been removed as a casualty. So let's just talk about this first. Amazing. This is why I wanted to talk about him immediately when we were talking about the preferred enemy independent character one. Remember that one?
Better.
This is just preferred enemy infantry. So much better. So much better. This is amazing. I'm smiling ear to ear because that's just pretty great. Preferred enemy infantry. Put that on literally any squad and you'll be happy. Hell, put that in a stupid freaking Cataphracti squad if you want. And all of a sudden their commie bolters are all reroll. It's just it's great. It's great. Steve, before I move on.
I hate the model, so I
dare you.
I don't like this model.
I should point out he does come helmeted. He can wear a helmet. I don't think Forge World actually publishes an image of him with the helmet.
His pose is weird.
No.
I just don't like him.
Head. Have you seen him with the helmet or no?
It doesn't matter. I don't like him.
You look right now. You look at the goddamn helmet, and you tell me that Hvarl Red-Blade, the Jarl.
Are you sure he actually has a helmet?
I swear to God, he does.
Didn't just put a helmet on him?
Someone actually put extra coins. Someone told me he did.
Does no one use it?
Someone told me they sell him with a helmet. I guess no one put it on. I guess okay, maybe not.
I mean, I was told that there would be bolt pistols in the Mark 6 box, and they just never showed it because plasma's cooler. That's not what happened. I'm telling you, there's no bolt pistols. 3 months went by, and lo and behold, there's no bolt pistols.
Oh my God, love it. Okay, maybe he doesn't come with a helmet. But just honestly, put a goddamn helmet on him, and you'll be fine. Or just literally any other head. It's just his head is what ruins them. I wish there was. I'm looking on Google for like a better image.
Honestly, I don't mind his face. I don't mind his
I literally think it's the head that ruins him. Anyway, let's keep.
I think it's the split legs. I think it's the I don't know. I just don't
Dude, that
like
one-handed
this
heavy
model.
bolter though. So awesome.
Yeah, that's great. And I wish that was an option, especially for my Iron Warriors.
Yeah.
But I don't care for
Very
this.
true.
Listen,
At least the fur looks like fur on this one.
Yeah, no, it does. I think you just literally need to replace the helmet with something that looks
I like
better.
the shin with the studs. That's really nice. But I don't know. I've never connected to this model.
It is weird that they gave him. So stupid question. Does Tartarus armor have that weird?
Oh, is it that much?
Bulge
Okay, I
in
didn't
the
realize
chest
it was
plate,
that
like
much.
the
I
weird.
thought it was a little flatter.
Okay, contemptor bulge. Okay.
The head doesn't bother me. I got no problem with the head.
I
I think
literally
the rest
think
of
it's
it's
the
a little
head.
too busy for me.
I think that
is. I'll talk about that in a moment once we're done with this guy and we get to final thoughts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me finish up. Sorry. Battle cunning, up to 3 units, composed entirely of infantry unit subtype in the same detachment. Maybe given the scout special rule. So that's amazing. You can either scout them up, or because you have access to scout, that means automatically you also have access to outflank. So you can outflank. You can't. I don't think you can outflank assault. By the way, someone correct me if I'm wrong.
All outflanking is outflank assaults.
Oh, okay, good.
That's
so yeah,
one of the things they pointed with between the playtest and the final release. All outflanks are outflank.
Okay, so if you have outflank, then you by default have outflank assault. Got it. Unless otherwise worded.
All right, so must outflank assault.
Yeah, he's got scout and by default outflank. Amazing. Up to 3 units too. So again, amazing. And last but not least is weapon, which I think is super powerful. So his power weapon is Hearth Splitter, strength +2, so strength 6, AP 2, not unwieldy, just armor bane. Not sure. Yeah.
That's it's almost like a mini chain fist.
Yeah.
Initiative. Yeah. You know, armor bane against Dreadnoughts because you reroll to wound.
Yeah, reroll to wound, which is nice. I don't know why he'd be going against a Contemptor. That's kind of scary, but no, it's still good.
The reroll.
Yeah. 4 attacks at strength +2, AP 2. That's not bad. And if he charges, I think he gets on. So he is in Tartaros. So if he charges,
they
he doesn't
can run.
Yeah. So they don't get the weapon skill. They get the.
Yes. They get the
run in charge.
Run in charge. Yeah. It's not bad.
So I think that the best way to use this guy, based on his Warlord trait, is in a big fat unit of Varagyr Terminators.
Yep.
Loaded to the tits with the autocannons.
Yep.
And like 1 or 2 ablative wound models.
No, I agree. Or if you really
and
like,
you just walk across the table, laying down fire.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh, wait. Problem. This is the thing that they love to do. You know what they did?
Let me guess. The Varagyr and Cataphracti.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
In fact, so here's the thing.
I'm willing to bet, too. I don't remember off the top, but I'm willing to bet that last edition you got an option between the 2 armor types.
So I'm going to say that I wouldn't put him in. I don't think you want to put him in an assault squad. He gives preferred enemy infantry. Put him in a heavy support squad.
Put him in a Varagyr squad with autocannons.
Oh, put him in a heavy support squad.
Or a Varagyr squad with autocannons because you have a 2-up save.
What?
And an autocannon and 2 wounds.
True. I just like he's good. Like the rules.
The problem with heavy support squads, and I can tell you this because I just experienced them, is that if you shoot them at something that's good, odds are it's good, and it will return fire and hurt you just as much as you hurt it. Having the 2-up save does a lot to ease that pain of return fire.
The other thing I will say, if you want to put him in close combat, because the idea of like don't put him in Cataphracti squad, it's actually not bad if you put him with that, because okay, now he can't run, but since he can't run, he will get the plus on his weapon skill. So now if you are putting him into a spot of a challenge against someone else's Praetor because you rushed him, it's the unit can't. It's not by model. The unit's not allowed to run because one model there stops you. So now I'm going against your Praetors. I'm strength 6 and I'm hitting you on 3s. You're hitting me on 5s. This guy loves the challenge at that point because he's gonna theoretically carve through whoever he goes against and it'll be much tougher for them to hurt him because he's better than they are at that moment. I still think he can do very well in a shooting squad, but since his preferred enemy is so generic, it's just infantry. I have no problem putting him in that, a unit with guys in Cataphracti. I think he's better there. I don't necessarily care about the sweeping if I'm going to be able to murder you really, really good. It's not going to matter so much. So, and those guys are the ones with the Reaper, so you'll be able to get that first. You can Reaper into someone and then go ahead and charge in.
Yeah. I mean, I should point out also, slight side note, he also does have fear, which is kind of cool. Like fear 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's still like a nice little tidbit, you know what I mean? No, he's cool. I like him. I mean, sure, okay. Is he an ugly model? Okay. I'll give you like
have thoughts.
He is. But here's the thing: like we talk about how models are supposed to have like a theme, right?
His theme is
or like
gauche.
some sort of. It's a thematic model. Like, also here's the thing. I think posing wise, I'm not sure if you could do it because I can't tell from the fucking model. I wouldn't put the axe like that. I would rotate the axe, the arm, more. I don't know how the hell to describe this, by the way, so bear with me. I would rotate that arm, the entire arm,
so you want his arm down,
parallel to the floor, like so that the axe. Yes, the arm down. I think having the arm up like that is a little goofy. And like if you like, for example, my Custodians, right? Whenever I was modeling the Custodians with like a one-handed spear or an axe just like that, I could have made the axe go up like that, but it looks kind of goofy. So you have to kind of angle it a little bit more like, so it has heft to it. I don't know if that makes sense.
I don't have a
like
problem
the axe
with
right now looks like it's too lightweight, like he's going to throw the damn thing.
Because
you know what I mean?
His face, if you pull up this model, and this is one thing I will put up on the YouTube for anyone watching there. His face has this sort of snarling look to it. He's looking to the axe side. He's obviously, to me, he has the look of he's calling out a challenge to someone, or he's informing his guys, in that direction he's pointing. If you were to put his arm down, if you could do it, I think then you have to turn his head, if possible, to be looking towards where his bolter's going, his heavy bolter's firing. Because otherwise, he's a dude just kind of looking off and yelling into the distance like a madman. But not a good way. But that's the problem. Not in a good way is he yelling off into the distance. He looks more of like a crazy person.
Oh, okay. I wish I'm trying to find it on Google. I swear, and I'm sorry, like the podcast again. I wish someone put a helmet on him because I honestly think, and this is like because my dad used to be an art teacher, and I took art. The whole entire point is the human body is supposed to be 7 head tall, right? The shoulders are about 1.5 head wide, right? There's proportion to the human body.
I teach this. It's called the golden ratio.
No, it's not called the golden
1 plus the square root of 5 over 2. Yes.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't know that. I just kind of knew the measurements. I didn't know the name. Yeah. But so there's a kind of. I'll use the name then. There's a golden ratio to the human body. This model, as I zoomed in, I kind of was screwing around with my mouse and kind of just using my fingers. It's not in proportion. It height wise, I can understand because he's kind of like doing the weird crouch, kneel, moving forward thing. But width wise, it doesn't make sense. And I think it's literally that stupid contemptor torso. So I think that if you put a helmet on him, especially a helmet that's a little like chunkier, like the Deathsworn helmets, right? I think it'll look a lot better. But
to me, that
with helmet, I'm really trying to find it with a helmet.
The reason the helmet,
but it's just help. Like I guess no one.
His arms do look a little too tall for his head placement and all. I think he's just a little bit too low in there. But putting a helmet, to me, the problem is it's still an exceedingly busy model. So we're gonna kind of go into final thoughts, and this leads very well into the thought of final thoughts. Rules wise, I think these guys are really cool. I think they have a really strong theme. I think, in general, you're probably going to want to focus a little bit more on assault or assault style elements. And I think it fits that perfectly. I think they have the right units for that. I think they have enough Oh yeah, they have enough original units where it's like, it's not. I'm not going to take this, my tax squad because I have these cool guys, and they're kind of like this. They're a little bit like that, but they fit what I do, and they have the theme very strong, and the theme is, just thrown all over their models, and to me, that's the problem. It's a yeah.
I agree. No, you know what? I agree. I agree with you, Dave. Because
I can take a look at them. Yeah.
Do you have the Deathsworn? Are you close to the Deathsworn page or no? Like, could you?
Yeah.
So there's one. So I look at the Deathsworn, right? And there's one dude in the back. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, the rules are awesome, but some of the models are just kind of goofy to me. Like, there's a Deathsworn in the back who's, I guess, he's trying to leap. I don't know, but he's the one all the way in the back of the 5-man, back right. But he's just like. Seriously, look, he's actually the second picture. He's the 360. Never mind. He's the 360 image. So I agree with you. I love the rules. Don't get me wrong. The rules are awesome. They're really cool. But I'm not in love with the models. Even the Varagyr. Like the Varagyr, and by the way, so I had the Varagyr. We bought it from Forge World because I know Brett ordered some from Forge World. So the Varagyr look cool. Like they're tall. They're thick models. They're actually thicker than what they look like here. But they're not.
Yes. Cenobian.
Like compared to yours, right? What are yours called? The Cenobian, right? Yeah. Compared to your Cenobian, there's no comparison. You know what I mean?
Special models for a lot of these legions.
I think I
fit. They get their iconography, or they get things that are similar to the iconography. So my Cenobium obviously have things that look like wings on them. At some spots are actual wings. They have a lot of that. They have keys and all those sorts of things because that's our general iconography. It is 30K, 40K, all of them are over the top with look, but some of them have a more subtlety to it. And I think a lot of them are a little more subtle. Space Wolves to me are almost like there was no moment of someone saying, I think that's enough. I don't think we need to give them the axe has a wolf's face on it. Okay, but does it need a wolf's tail at the bottom of the axe? Okay, but does every cloth they have to have a pelt? Okay, but does their head have to be the wolf? But does this? And so, I think they go a little. It's like they have to prove to you that it's Space Wolf by making sure you can never think it's something else. And I think it makes the models, to me, too busy.
Wait.
Yeah, it is.
That's a Space Wolf?
I will point out the Contemptor does look pretty cool. I'll give props to the Contemptor.
The units don't look bad, but it's to such an extent,
like
and I think that's my problem. I'm not as fan of more what I would call almost finicky models or over-tuned models. There's a beauty and subtlety. And some of and their models lack that. And if you like that look, if you like more ostentatious looks, I think it fits that, and that's absolutely fine. I'm just not a big fan on that. Is true.
This is Dan the Custodies guy. If it's not ostentatious, it doesn't exist.
No, but okay, no. I knew you were going to bring that up, and I had a perfect retort to that. You compare the ostentatiousness of a Custodies model, it's not overdone. Like, they're gold, but the most ornate thing on them is
surface on a Custodian that's not covered in an eagle or a gem.
But it's not like... Okay, so compare Space Wolf, right? Compare the Space Wolf.
The Space Wolf problem is that it's a lot of textures mixed together.
Exactly.
In that ostentatious.
The textures of the Custodians, but it's part of the armor. It's not like you compare a shield captain, right? A shield captain to Hvarl, right? The shield captain just looks better. It's not over. It's ornate.
Custodians,
but it's not overdone.
Me, can look a little too much because of the gold they get put in. If you put them a different color, though, it would absolutely tone it down, and you could look at it and be like, okay, that's a more subtle model to an extent. I don't care what color you put a Space Wolf in. By the time you're done painting it, it is loud. And to me, that's sort of my problem. But again, if you like that, that's fine. If people have different tastes, and there's 18 different legions for that reason. At the end of the day, really, it's all for taste.
But to be fair, let's also kind of be fair as well. Let's say you want to build Varagyr. What are they? Cataphracti? There are many like resin places that do those third-party things. What was the ones that did the Space Bears? Oh crap! This is gonna drive me up the wall.
While you think about it for a moment,
it's the YouTube channel
about it
that did the
amongst yourself
Space
there.
Bears.
Steve,
Yeah,
final
so-
thoughts on Space Wolves while he tries to remember where he found a bear.
They check in the woods for the bear. Okay, so
I got it, by the way.
or in certain nightclubs. Okay, so Space Wolves are fucking fast. I don't think I put enough emphasis on that throughout the video. Holy shit, they are fast. Wherever you think a Space Wolf is, just picture it being about 6 inches closer to you. That's where it really is when you're about to get your face cut off. If you have a gunline army, you're getting a single salvo off against them. They're just fast. Now, if you have a combat melee army, the best defense against them is quality troops, decent weapon skills, decent armor saves. I got to witness kind of in the sides a couple games where Space Wolves were being fielded against Khorne Berserker army. Actually, it was not Berserkers, but what are the guys that could take Rampagers? Rampagers with jump pack. And the Rampagers threw out tons of dice, and were able to chew down the Space Wolves. And the Space Wolves, got there fast and were able to chew down the Berserkers. But the Space Wolves struggled against the Emperor's Children because, one, they all had the Sonic Screamer things for the -1 to hit, but two, it was an army that had a lot of Palatine blades. So Weapon Skill 5 was protecting them, 2 armor saves was protecting them. So I guess that kind of shows what they're good and bad into, and you kind of plan around that when making your own army. They're fast, and that's my biggest takeaway. I'm still shocked at watching an assault squad fly across the table.
They're a very good shock army. They're a very good shock army. Dave, I posted 2 things. So yeah, for those of you who don't like the look of Space Wolves, but still want that frosty kind of Viking look, I know on YouTube there was a guy who kind of started designing his own stuff, known as the Space Bears. Now I know Space Bears are not Space Wolves, but bear with me. They're from Tabletop Time. But yeah, no, you can get these bits and 3D print them. You can buy the STLs, but they're basically Space Wolf-ish enough that it works, in my opinion. So you have like these really cool lightning claws that have the runic symbols on them. You have shoulder pads. You have Cataphracti shoulder pads that have really cool runic symbols on it. So you can kind of convert your Space Wolves to be less furry and more Viking, which I think is what Dave was looking for.
Yes, but at the end of the day, I just want less stuff.
So there are
ways. At the end of the day, that's honestly my problem. I don't like my models to be oversaturated, for lack of a better term, with things all over them. Although I'm looking at these bits, I'll post up some links as well. I think all of it works except for the helmets. The helmets look kind of. Helmets actually to me look kind of like Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I understand that. Yeah, it's a space bear, but it looks a cross between like a bear and a Black Panther.
Well, it's a bear. It's a space bear. Yeah.
That's okay.
There are more. I couldn't find the rest of the damn store. He sells it on Puppets War, but he also has My Mini Factory because that's his thing.
.eu space bears. You could find what we're looking at. Dan, any other final thoughts on these guys?
Yeah, exactly. No, they do what they do well. Despite my hesitation towards the way they look, I think their rules are really solid. They are a shock army. And even if you're prepared for the incoming charge or the incoming speed, that's hard to prepare. You know what I mean? They're just a quick. I mean, they're not White Scars level quick. It's a different type of quickness. You know what I mean? Whereas White Scars are quick and tricky and hard to pin down. These are more of like a hammer with a jetpack attached to it. They're the Emperor's executioners.
What I would say is if
they do
you
their
like
job
the
well.
Look of this army and the theme, because the theme is both strong in terms of what it can do. So this is an army where like you're going to be able to do what you want with it. Oh, you want to be able to salt? Yeah, they're going to do a really good job with that. It's not going to be a feel bad in that. You're going to understand how they work. You're going to understand how to play it, and it will play well off the bat. It's a little less nuanced than some of the other things. It doesn't mean that there's not skill and ability to it, but it's a little less nuanced. Like you're going to be able to play them pretty well off the bat. The biggest thing is, do you like the look? To me, I'm not a huge fan of the look, but if you do enjoy the look, you know, it'll take you very far. But you know, all right. We've been these guys. Actually, I'm gonna have to take a look at the timestamp later. We might have talked about these guys for as long as Dark Angels because they had almost as many units. They get so many units, so many. They are very special. That is the one thing. Yeah, if you want to have a lot of special units, these guys will do it. This is an army in almost in a way where again the starter box is not great for where you might want to take the army because you have so many guys that are like bolt pistol chainsword type or a chain axe sort of weapon or like weapon options that box didn't have. Like your standard tactical squads are probably not really the way you want to go. You're looking at a lot of different things. So it's not that the box is bad. You can still build these guys out of it, but you're going to expand very differently out of that box than maybe a different army would. But all right, I think we'll call this marathon here at this point.
And that'll do it for us tonight. As you can tell, this was a long one just because the Space Wolves have so many units. They're a unique legion in that perspective that they both get a good amount of special units, but they also change a lot of the base units to have their own form and version of that. So it took a bit to go through, but they are very interesting. Hopefully, just our overall, not desire to play them doesn't come across as harsh. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. They're a very cool legion. They're not just necessarily our favorite. So hopefully we're still able to come at it from a perspective of both entertainment and information. As always, I do want to thank everyone who does listen. Remember, you can find us on any podcatcher. We're also available on YouTube, where I hope to be able to start putting up more stuff as soon as I finally get some time. Although now if we're doing 2 recordings a week, that makes the time a little bit tighter. But grand ambitions and all of that, of course. Keep in mind that the idea is then for Friday, our standard release day, that we'll be going through Imperial Fists. We want to be able to start doing 2 legions a week, so that way we can actually get through all 18 of these. And we're going to try to keep that up at least through August, maybe a little bit longer if we can. We'd also like to start getting back to some of the other content we used to do, although we've kind of prioritized this for now because we think, 1, it's both worthwhile, and 2, it's timely. So we want to get through that, and then we can kind of start branching out to both things we've done in the past and things we want to do from here on out. So, on behalf of everyone here, have some good hobby and some great gaming.